It hasn't even started, and the tower has already exploded. We've been defeated. Our swords are planted in the ground, along with the unspoken laments, because everyone thought that once those words were spoken, everything would truly be over. But in that moment... So, we've lost, haven't we? We've been defeated. All the heroes are gathered here, every one of them just as dejected. Is this really the end? I never thought we'd have to part ways like this. I knew this would have to end sooner or later, but the man who seemed to be the strongest of the group turned away. "Enough of this sappy crap," he urged. "Let's hurry up. We're all going to die anyway." Suddenly, someone's spear struck the ground hard, making it crack. "Who says it's over?" The one with the tattered body and a missing arm was the great sage, Heaven's equal. He yelled, "It's still not over!" The other heroes walked over, and though their words were blunt, there was no contempt. "You've got a big mouth for a dying man." He shot back, not yielding. "I'm nowhere near dead." The man standing there, trying to reason with the great sage, was the hero Queen. "You might be immortal, but can you really afford to be this arrogant in front of the outer gods?" He stepped closer, trying to talk him down. "Sooner or later, they'll find this place." "Damn it!" At that moment, a voice came from inside a gem. "No, they might have already found us." Light burst from the gem. A strange man appeared, catching everyone's attention. It was Kim Yugon, our main character. Seeing Yugon, Queen was slightly relieved. "So you managed to get back?" He walked forward slowly, his heart heavy. "I almost lost my own life." Yugone slumped down beside a log, his head bowed. "Are you the only one?" Yugone's eyes were filled with anguish. His voice made the air grow heavy. "Yeah." They couldn't believe their ears and had to ask again. "Even Merlin, Asura, and Vishnu?" To all their hopes, he could only answer, "Yeah." The heavy words seemed to dissolve into the silence. They're all dead. The gem remained there, completely still. Only then did they start to notice it. "And who is this bastard?" Yugon replied, exhausted. "That's the foolish Chaos." "What?" The great sage's face contorted in shock. He turned to him. "Wait, that thing is one of the outer gods?" In that solitary silent shadow, a voice spilled out as if unburdening a soul. "So, now I know for sure. We, the beings of the inner world, can never defeat the outer world." Right then, a strange circle appeared in midair. "There is no way to win." A mysterious cloaked figure dropped from the sky, interrupting their somber conversation. For now, that is. His face went numb, his mind racing. "So, in the end, this is the only option?" He was a godlike entity, here as if to begin a new story. "Go back to your world's original timeline and start again. In the world I send you to, I will likely have already vanished. This is probably a fair price for the only way to go back to the past and alter the timeline, so don't bother looking for me." Yugone, worried, pressed for details. "So, you'll just disappear?" He shook his head and replied, "I don't know what form I'll exist in anymore." Kronos presented his clock-like magic, reassuring him, "But my disappearance won't cause any major issues." In anguish, with tears welling in his eyes, Yugon pushed aside all his sorrows and stood up. "I would also like to end it all here if I could, but this is our last chance." He raised his head high and asked the difficult question. "So who will be the one to time travel?" Not one hero had the courage or ability to answer that question. He was silent for a beat, then asked tentatively, "I had a feeling, but it's really me, isn't it?" As if they had been waiting for that exact question, they answered, "That's right." He looked toward the great sage, Heaven's equal. "Wukong." He's a suitable candidate, too. "Why me?" Despite his usual arrogance, this time the great sage didn't say much. "Yugon, you entered the tower after all of us, yet you managed to adapt to this world faster than anyone. You adapted to the tower, and now you can fight with us, standing shoulder to shoulder with those who have climbed to its peak. We are the ones who forged legends and earned our own divinity and titles." Queen took a powerful step forward. "You haven't forgotten, have you, Yugone? Entities on the upper floors can hardly interfere with the lower ones. Therefore, to change this tower, we must start from the lowest floors. That is why you are our only choice." A warrior came up from behind to encourage Yugone as well. "When you return to the past, our relationships with you might not be what they are now. So if we don't recognize you, just let it go, okay?" The great sage even stepped forward to offer his own advice. "If anyone gives you trouble, just punch some sense into them. If that still doesn't work, then just put them down. Stay safe, my friend." Yuan sighed, exasperated. You guys really have to drag things out, don't you? He took the crucial watch and stood beside Yugon, a satisfied smile on his lips because they were all just as stubborn as each other. Yugon stepped into a new world where history repeats itself. Looks like I'm in for a tough time. A light began to flash. He looked at his own hands. The dazed look in his youthful eyes was gone. Yugon looked at this new form in surprise. My body is so heavy. The stats and mystical energy that once supported my body are all gone. Yugon clenched his fists, telling himself, so my time was rewound. It's not that my body was sent to the past, huh? He was still lost in thought when something suddenly rushed toward him. So, I have to start from scratch. First, I have to figure out how far back I've gone. I just got here, and this is already happening. Yuan was gifted a punch right in the face for letting his guard down. He had to plant his feet firmly on the floor to brace himself as some annoying blondie showed up and mocked him. Heh! You actually managed to take that hit. Seeing that he didn't react at all, the guy was confused. What's with him? Looking at the emblem on his chest, Eugene vaguely recognized it. Jungsun University. Right. Before all of that happened, I was a university student. It's been so long I completely forgot. He still stood there stunned, even after piecing some of the story together. Now, what was this guy's name again? The guy threw another punch. You think you're so tough, huh? If you know what's good for you, respect your senior. This time, unlike before, he quickly ducked to dodge the blow. The other guy's eyes widened in surprise. Yuan muttered something incomprehensible. Is it today? Or tomorrow? What? Yuan ordered arrogantly, a look of contempt on his face. What's today's date? Answer quickly and I'll let you off for those punches just now. Your punches are as weak as a fly's. The guy became aggressive and puffed out his chest, raising his hand to throw another punch. This son of a bitch. What did you just say? Are you fucking crazy? What did you just bark? You didn't even use honorifics? Quick as a flash, Yugon blocked the attack with ease. He didn't show the slightest hint of remorse. Now where's the phone in my pocket? A small light was flashing. Time to begin. The screen showed, today is 3 o'clock, October 31st, year 2. Kim Yugon. 9 hours before the tutorial begins. Soon the sky turned to night. December 31st, 2019, 8 p.m., Area 0D, inside a crowded city pub. That guy with his face all covered up and grumbling over there is Kim Myung-hoon. He muttered, there are some brats loitering around here. Kim Myung-hoon. They waved, calling out loudly to get his attention. Over here, over here. Hey, what's taking you so long? His classmate from earlier teased him. You're an hour late. That's a 1,000,000 won fine. Pay up. Myung-hoon picked up his glass of beer, annoyed. Cut the crap. He chugged the whole thing down his throat. Damn it. Some idiot sitting across from him sneered. Why is that bitch such a coward? Don't you feel better after letting off some steam? Myung-hoon ignored them all, not wanting to talk anymore. Give me another glass. The guy poured Myung-hoon a drink, ready to ask a few questions. So, what did you and Kim Yu-won do? At the mention of that name, he gritted his teeth in anger. Kim Yu-won. The painful memories came flooding back. Someone was crying their eyes out. Absent, Kim Myung-hoon. That morning after beating him up, Eugene had said coldly, now I remember your face. You can take a break from school, but don't you have anything better to do? Still, you deserve a reward for trying so hard. There isn't much time left. He looked up angrily at his own bloodied hands, thinking, that bastard. He just spouted those incomprehensible words and left. I'm going to beat him to a pulp until he can't even lift his head again. Now, back in the pub, Myung-hoon stood up excitedly, boasting, I beat the crap out of him. I hope he has enough strength to drag his ass to the hospital. His good friends tried to calm him down. Hey, just have a drink. He could kill himself at that rate. Myung-hoon scorned him with the most malicious words imaginable. Who gives a damn about a guy who doesn't even have parents, right? Who's gonna stand up to us, huh? His yes-men friends all agreed. Yeah, that's right. If he starts whining after just a few punches, that's his own fault. After bad-mouthing Yugon, the group settled down to drink. No more talking. Cheers. Time passed, and it was now 11:50. Why is it so crowded? They finished their food and drinks and sat in a corner, shooting the breeze. After all, it's a long weekend. 2020 is almost here. How about a third round? Myung-hoon let out a cold breath. If you want another round, hurry up. I'm still sober. We have to party till we drop. At that moment, a suitcase was quickly being pulled somewhere. Hey, isn't that? Yugon's hurried figure suddenly appeared. Kim Yugon. Seeing him, they started speculating. He looks pretty sharp, huh? What's with the suitcase? Myung-hun knew the plan was about to be exposed and started to worry, wondering why that bastard was here. He thought to himself, good, his time is up. I knew it. Myung-hun threw his mask away and charged aggressively. Greeting, my ass. What the hell do you want now? He rushed forward like the wind, but before he could do anything, Myung-hun had already shouted loudly to get his attention. Hey, Yujin! A group of teenagers surrounded him. The guy arrogantly tilted his head up and asked, What are you doing here, you punk? People all over the street saw what was happening. They glanced over, but then quietly walked away. Eugene adjusted his wristwatch. The watch displayed 11:52. He advised them, it's almost 12 o'clock. You guys should enjoy the last 3 minutes of the year. After that, it's hell. Ignoring Myung-hun's nonsensical rambling, Eugene quietly bent down and opened his suitcase. What kind of nonsense are you spouting, you little brat? His face completely changed when he saw something. Inside the suitcase were nothing but weapons that could take a person's life. Kim Eugene, are you insane? His friends who came with him got scared and quickly urged him, Hey, how does he have that stuff? Hurry up and apologize to him, you idiot. Kim Young-hun, you were wrong. He dazedly picked up the axe amidst the pleas. Eugene, you too. This isn't right. No matter how angry you are, you shouldn't. Eugene slung the briefcase over his shoulder, thinking, This is the busiest place in Seoul. There are a lot of people watching. Eugene was ready for a real fight. His face was as cold as ice. It's starting. The watch that had fallen on the ground showed 11:59 and 57 seconds. In a flash, it was 59 seconds. The watch struck the exact time. The battle began as a piercing sound echoed from somewhere. Beams of light shot down from the sky, making the already bustling city even more chaotic. Eugene walked past, leaving them with a cryptic message, Your 3 minutes are up. They glanced at him worriedly, on guard. The system's voice resounded, All are agitated. Zone 20,131, population 12,014. Training will now commence. Survive against the horde of zombies. They will be eliminated after 30 minutes. Bizarrely shaped zombies began to crawl out. Everyone was terrified. Are those real zombies? What the hell is this? Eugene's eyes narrowed with vigilance. There are a lot of zombies around here. That's because the difficulty setting was set to hard. The monsters wandered around, searching for prey. The more populated the area, the more zombies there were. It was the only way to balance the zone. He reached behind him, opening the system interface, his mind full of calculations. Hongdae has a large population for its size. The places you guys can run to will be restricted by the zone, and there will be many zombies hiding everywhere you go. This means this place will soon be soaked in blood. The system's voice announced its rules. You can check your condition by saying the activation phrase, status window. You will also receive a basic combat weapon, the Olo knife. The current situation was chaos. Everything was a mess. They would receive items called weapons. A guy looked at the hammer in his hand and lamented, a basic combat weapon to fight zombies with? Eugene tossed the knife aside and reached behind him to unzip his bag. The theme of round 1 is survival. I used to be very, very content just to be alive, but now that's not enough. He took out a strange item and quickly twisted the cap open. In a flash, Eugene had drawn a sharp knife much better than the one from the system. His eyes were incredibly determined as he looked at it. All right. With that, he charged forward and cut down a zombie, kicking off the fight. Showtime. After it was killed, the system announced a point notification. If you are the first person to kill a zombie in your current area, you will receive 100 points. Combat ability increased and you will be upgraded. Just like that, the zombies were wiped out one by one. You have leveled up, you have leveled up, you have leveled up, you have leveled up. From a distance, people saw Eugene fighting fiercely and became more inspired. Look at him. Are those zombies really that weak? I think we can do it too. Let's go! I'll kill them all! A civilian swung an axe with gusto. Ah! He had successfully overcome his own fear, but unfortunately the creature's skin was too tough to pierce. The axe got stuck. He began to panic. Huh? Why? The zombie quickly sent him to the afterlife. Yuan shot a cold, contemptuous look his way. You can't do anything with that pathetic level of strength. Although they're slow and weak, they feel no pain and are very hard to kill. More importantly, if you get bitten, your body can be poisoned to death. As the survivors tried to climb to the higher floors of the tower, the zombies were an obstacle that was anything but easy. His sharp blade got stuck in its neck. Worried, Eugene quickly kicked the zombie away, a flicker of fear in his heart. Did the effect wear off? He quickly reached behind him and pulled something out of his backpack. Even though they aren't easy to kill, they still have a weak point. Eugene threw the vial from earlier into the air. And that is... With those words, he swung his hand, slicing the vial in half. Memories flooded back. At that moment, Eugeon was talking to the middle-aged man. Your ability is really different from mine, not just you, but the others too. He quickly replied, Even so, you still survived, mister. The older man sighed tiredly. It was all luck. I discovered a few surprising things during the first training round. Do you know what I did for a living before I got trapped in this damn tower? The old man, the manager of a salt farm, squeezed the water bottle in his hand, his eyes filled with indignation. The first zombie training round is, their weakness is salt. After giving the tickets to the zombies, the system announced, Congratulations, you have achieved an incredible accomplishment. You have killed 100 zombies within 10 minutes in the training round. You have received 3 free stat points. Free stat points are different from the level up points you receive randomly. Each time you level up, you can add them to the stats you want. The current 3 free stat points will be randomly distributed when the training round ends. Yuan stood on a pile of desiccated corpses, silently calculating. Free stat points, so I can get them in the training rounds. He lightly touched the panel, hesitating. Should I use them now? After a moment of thought, Yuan decided, no, I'll just save them and use them later. I can't waste the points I've earned. After killing dozens of zombies, the timer showed 10 minutes remaining until this living hell ended. Yuan had a new idea. First, he needed to find a suitable location. Suddenly, a hideous moaning sound from behind caught his attention. There, it was Myung-hun, trying to survive with the system-provided sword. No matter how hard he tried, the blade couldn't pierce its flesh. He frowned in extreme frustration. Damn it! What's going on? How can Kim Yuan cut through them so easily, but I can't? His childish thoughts didn't stop there. Myung-hun even secretly wished he had the weapon that guy was using. The zombie groaned and he kicked its body hard, shouting, Die! A zombie was sent flying 8 meters. His friends ran over worriedly. Myung-hun! 2 of his good friends tried to reason with him. Myung-hun, don't you feel like... Those bastards are increasing, not decreasing at all? Where did that Kim Yuan guy go? We could survive if we stick with him. Myung-hun's eyes flashed with fear. Kim Yuan? He looked around, searching, but only saw the living dead. Kim Yuan! Kim Yuan! Kim Yuan! Damn it, where did that bastard disappear to? But while he was lost in thought, a warning shout rang out. Myung-hun! In front of you! He quickly swung his sword to block the attack. The fight was so intense that the sword nearly shattered. The monster's hands are reaching for me. I'm going to die! Myung-hun reflexively raised his arm to block. In an instant, the monsters seemed to vanish. They all collapsed. What happened? Why did they suddenly... I think something fell from the sky. A white mist spread out. He held out his hand to catch it. Myung-hun, unafraid, stuck out his tongue and tasted it. It's salt. Salt! In the pitch-black night, a figure leaped from place to place. You have leveled up! You have leveled up! You have leveled up! It was Yuan. He was the one who had dropped the backpack full of salt. Amazing, you have leveled up, you have leveled up. After spreading the salt for a while, he slid a long way across the ground. The end. A system announcement rang out. The first training round has ended. Survivors, 4,077. He figured a lot of people had died in the battle. The system panels chimed repeatedly. You will receive rewards based on the number of enemies eliminated. Enemies killed, 1,427. You will receive 1,427 points. You have received additional stat points. Strength +1, stamina +1, free stat points, 1. You are the one who killed the most enemies. Received 500 points. You have received the Incredible Accomplishment achievement. Received 1,000 points. It was so much that even Yuan was at a loss. I really did kill a lot. I wonder how many notification windows popped up. The current number of points he had was 3,027. In total, I've gathered 3,000 points. I thought I'd start with about 10 points before. It's ridiculous to get this many, and that's just in this first training round. The damned system announced again, the second training round will begin soon. Yuan clicked his tongue and grumbled. There's no time to rest. The next training round is probably Everyone was exhaustedly waiting for the next hell when that sound came. Hello, everyone. Congratulations to the survivors. It seems there are still many survivors here, huh? It's been expanded, so everyone must have been very surprised. A stir went through the crowd. Who's that? Did everyone else hear that too? Where is that voice coming from? The strange voice offered, I have some things to convey to the survivors. Normally, I would inform you after the second tutorial ends, but this time is an exception. It's because someone has reached the threshold. Yuan briefly speculated, a subordinate. I only have one thing to say about how to use the points. All right, everyone, let's have a round of applause. The survivors were freaking out. What the hell is going on? Isn't it supposed to be about how to get home? Hey, be quiet and listen. The voice explained, there are two main ways to use points. The first is to use them at the shop. We have prepared items that are beyond your wildest imaginations. And the other way is to use them right now. Everyone likes money, right? You can exchange points with anyone as long as you shake their hand. Yuan turned away, completely exasperated. That's right. I knew all of this. That's why they say you can even become a god with money in your hands, especially when the store plays a very important role in this world. And from now on, it will be a battle to level up and collect points. After saying that, it cheerfully bid them farewell. Okay, time's up. You've all had enough rest, right? A large yellow circle radiated out, covering the entire city. That is all we wanted to announce. Now it is time to start fighting again. The system analyzed the yellow area in the center of each district. A safe zone has been created. Please proceed to the safe zone. You will receive 100 points every 3 hours. The second training round begins. The safe circle has been established. They wandered scattered throughout the city in confusion. A safe zone? What the hell are they talking about? A light zone? Myung-hun's friend clapped his shoulder encouragingly. Ha ha! Hey, let's go, Myung-hun! He slapped his own forehead, not believing his eyes. Damn it, what the hell is going on? Someone approached to ask a question. That name caught Myung-hun's attention. Where's Jang-ho? Unfortunately, I think he's dead. They stood there discussing something, or more accurately, they were cursing out Yugon. What is it? Are you looking for something? Ah, it's nothing. Now that I think about it, I haven't seen that bastard Yugon either. He should just die. Little did they know that at that very moment, you were sneaking up from behind. He fought like a monster. Is it right to call him that? Suddenly, Myung-hun quickly ran over to you, confusing his friends. Let's get out of here. Hey, where are we going now? He slapped your shoulder hard to get your attention. Myung-hun was kindly advising you. Kim Yugon, where are you going? Are you? This is the wrong way. Didn't you hear them say to go to the safe zone? He grimaced, pretending to be kind. Let's go. I'll take care of you since you're a senior. It turned out he had other intentions. I don't want to admit it, but staying with this bastard is a safe choice. If I treat him well like this, he'll surely... Contrary to his wishes, Eugene replied, I know. He pushed Myung-hun's hand away firmly. There's a place I have to go. Goodbye. Yugon patted his shoulder lightly, as if he understood his intentions all along. If you want to survive, don't try to cling to anyone. Be a good little boy and wait in the safe zone. You even kindly offered advice. Know your place. With that, Yugon walked away, leaving Myung-hun seething with anger. What? That bastard! Myung-hun clenched his fists, trembling with rage. That son of a bitch, Kim Yugon! Without arguing further, Myung-hun turned back. At the same time, no one else can enter. Forget it. No way. Is being with him really better than being in the safe zone? But the whispers of people from behind caught Myung-hun's attention. What? It's sealed off? I think they want us to go inside. He realized with a start. It's sealed off. Just a few seconds after that moment, Myung-hun's face turned pale with fear. The system panel displayed population 2038 out of 2038. Myung-hun started to calculate. The population is over 2,000 people. Capacity, 2,038 out of 2,038. That's half of the survivors. So what about the rest of the people outside the safe zone? Something was writhing and charging forward outside. Myung-hun asked in terror, What is that? Out here? Giant worms emerged, devouring the defeated alive. Save me! Elsewhere, a sharp sword stabbed into one, sending its blood splattering everywhere. Yugon gracefully twisted. His hands, and the giant worm was sliced in two. Yugon listened to the terrified screams of those foolish people. What is that thing? Help! Save me! And so you thought to yourself, it's starting. Without any delay, the system congratulated Yugon. You are the first to kill an earthworm. You have received 300 points. You have received 2 random stat points. Strength +1, dexterity +1. Your face grew serious. Your eyes sharpened as if you were assessing them. Earthworms hunt by surfacing from underground so they can't be seen with the naked eye. But if you close your eyes and feel their movements, the space around Yugon suddenly became quiet, fluctuating. The ground moved slightly. Suddenly, it burst up in a huge streak. The moment he sensed it, Yugon gave the little guy a strike it couldn't block. Now's the time! You swung the sharp knife high. Yugon slashed the knife through the air like wind scattering leaves. 2 more little worms are gone. In that quiet moment, as you were flying through the air, the system appeared. You have leveled up. Strength +1, dexterity +1, perception +1. Yugon was quite surprised, but there was no time to think. Another one was surfacing. I leveled up just by killing 2 of them? You walked down the steps, calculating. At this rate, I'm going to rake in a huge amount of points. After walking for a while, you stopped. This place was an old, dark cellar. Yugon looked around warily. Earthworms live underground. They create tunnels and make nests in them. In other words, this is the optimal location to hunt them. The earthworms were writhing in a terrifying clump. Secret dungeon discovered. You have discovered Hongjae Station. You have received 100 points. Bingo! Without waiting any longer, you spun the knife in your hand smugly. Now that I've found their nest, wiping them out will be a piece of cake. First, let's just get to level 20. An earthworm lunged forward to attack. With a clean slicing sound, Yugon gently sent them all to meet their maker. Blood splattered relentlessly in all directions. At this moment, you were like a true killing spirit, fighting passionately. Suddenly, a purple gem fell out. Yugon thought for a moment, guessing what the orb was. Is this something that can be obtained in the second training round? Yugon caught it with delight. Haha, interesting. It seems these worms are looking a lot more appealing now. Yugul held the gem in his hand, his heart filled with joy. I'm sorry, but I have a reason to kill you all no matter how hard it is. On the surface, everything was in complete chaos. The people in the safe zone watched in horror. They're terrifying. I'd rather bite my tongue and die than end up like that. Time's up. The system displayed, 3 hours have passed. You have received 100 points. Seeing the board for the first time, the people were quite surprised. Points? Is this money? Is 100 points a lot? An announcement bell echoed. A new fierce battle is being activated. The red zone has been deactivated. Population 1,867. 1,500. After the population exceeded the maximum allowed limit, people will be randomly expelled from the safe zone. They looked around in fear. How much smaller is it going to get? What? My body's being dragged away. Many people had already been thrown out of the safe zone. The moment they were tossed out, they were met by monsters. The braver ones were desperately trying to run and find a place to hide for the remaining time. 2 hours, 57 minutes, and 11 seconds. Seeing people in their way, they didn't hesitate to take each other out. Damn it, get out of here. Do you want me to beat you to death? Now, the atmosphere had officially turned into a true battle for survival. Run, I have to get out of here. Don't get in my way. It was pure chaos. Suddenly, someone shouted, calming them. Everyone, be quiet. On reflex, everyone fell silent, looking toward the source of the sound. Myung-hun, with a pained expression, bluntly told them what the harsh reality was. Starting from this moment, we need to decide who gets killed so that we can survive. Myung-hun clenched his fist, reluctantly saying what he didn't want to. If I don't do anything, I'll end up getting expelled from here. I have to kill someone to survive. Having said that, he grabbed an old man by the collar. What are you doing, young man? Are you insane? Myung-hun growled, veins bulging on his face. I'm going to kill this old bastard. Paying no mind to the events on the surface, another chaotic battle was unfolding underground. Yugon made a long, decisive slash, splitting a massive worm vertically. He planted his foot firmly on the ground. Immediately after, Yugon spun gracefully. Again and again, he sent the little worms to the afterlife. In a flash, they were all gone for good. You have leveled up. Yugon opened his bag and dropped the gems he had harvested inside. Your wisdom has increased by 1. Your constitution has increased by 1. Your perception has increased by 1. You have reached level 20. Yugon didn't care about the system notifications. He just slung on his bag and prepared to leave. Arcane power has been unlocked. I did it. He wiped away his sweat, satisfied after the long battle. It's been 3 hours, huh? That was pretty exhausting. But thanks to the stat increases, my body feels much better now. I got 3 random stat points as a reward for hunting those earthworms, right? And I still have 1 individual point left to be allocated. Not bad at all. I guess I can't expect a better reward until I catch that thing. The system displayed a question. Yes or no? Naturally, he chose yes. You have 5 unallocated stat points remaining. Would you like to use them? After he clicked the button, the system window disappeared. Allocating unallocated stat points. Yugon closed his eyes, feeling his stats rise. Arcane power plus 5. Arcane power will be the base stat for all the powers I acquire. From now on, no stat will be more important than this one. Arcane power. 18. And even the few who are blessed by the tower only start with 12 points. So I'm off to a good start. I'm so glad I saved those points. What I need now is... Sensing someone approaching, Yugon turned around and called out. Hey kid, you're watching, aren't you? In the large hole in the ceiling, it seemed someone was still unwilling to show themselves. How did you know? Yugon said arrogantly. You see it too, don't you? I'm pretty flashy. It'd be boring to look anywhere else, right? That thing replied. To be honest, you're right. The strange creature partially revealed itself from the side. Anyway, thank you. You've made this boring job much more interesting. He was a lower-level manager with a bizarre, clown-like body. Whoa, you really reached level 20. Yugon modestly rested his sword on his shoulder. Just luck. The creature flew over, swaying side to side. Luck? You know, the people who get things done through luck are the scariest of all. Then why did you call me? He replied curtly. The shop. Oh, you want to buy an item? No, Yugon requested. I need to buy some skills. The clown found this odd. Although he opened the shop, he still asked probing questions. I think you're the first person to buy skills during the second training round. Yugon didn't reply, silently walking over to a bookshelf and reaching for an item. Now then, choose what you want. Yugon chose with delight. There are so many that just browsing through them would take forever. Small skill panels appeared. He was a bit curious, so he turned and asked, Do you have all of these? He talks as if this stuff is so grand. This is everything you can buy in the training round. He pried, trying to understand Yugon's intentions. So, is there something you're looking for? Wary he didn't say a word. Not really. Asking more would only draw unwanted attention. After a moment of thought, Yugon decided on the monkey's eyes that once belonged to a monkey on Mount Huaguo. I'm going to buy this. The man seemed hesitant, expressing his disdain. Monkey's eyes, huh? But really, it's not a very good skill. Not wanting to pay attention to that nonsense, he decided to buy it. You have used 2,000 points. I see that unique name. The man tilted his head, confused. Right? System notification. You have acquired Monkey's Eyes. Total points, 1,527. Yugon glanced around and picked a few more useful items. Next is this one. Basic Arcane Sword. It imbues your sword with arcane power. Depending on how you use it, it can become an ultimate and reliable weapon. 1,500 points. You have spent 1,500 points. You have received Basic Arcane Sword. Total points, 27. The man trailed behind, showering Yugon with praise. Oh ho, an excellent choice. The Basic Arcane Sword will compensate for the attack power I'm lacking compared to those who started earlier. Though he didn't say it aloud, he thought, so noisy. After a moment, the man decided not to bother him anymore. Goodbye. I hope you enjoy the rest of your time here. I'm expecting great things from you. Hearing that, his suspicion intensified to the extreme. Expecting great things? So are they monitoring me as a special management target? Fine. It doesn't matter. No matter how much they watch me, I haven't broken any rules to get this far. So they can't punish me. The only thing that's a headache is getting back. But would they even recognize it? The travel watch used for returning is an artifact crafted by Kronos. Mimir, Odin, and Kronos were the key figures behind this item. They were punished, causing its existence to be erased once it was used. Besides, their underlings, not even the administrators, can find a way to bring it back. Meanwhile, a notification detailed the function of the skill Yugon just bought. Monkey's eyes. Eyes that once belonged to a monkey on Mount Huaguo. When activated, increases vision and power. Adds 5 points. Rank F. Proficiency, 0.00%. His gaze was resolute as he moved forward. My goal won't change, so these are the eyes of those guys. I have to increase its proficiency quickly, because the true value of these eyes lies elsewhere. In the dark underground, a swarm of worms that had devoured many people saw Yugon from a distance. They began to crawl out in droves as the system clock displayed. Time remaining, 29 minutes, 58 seconds. He gripped his dagger tightly, ready to fight again. Now then, I still have plenty of time. Yugon brandished his sword, standing firm before the horde of massive, foolish enemies. I know it's around here somewhere. The bug from the second training round. The Overlord worm. Yugon planted his foot on its massive body, using it to leap up. The huge boss stood there, as if assessing the situation. He looked at it, his thoughts wandering. It suddenly had to become a man-eating monster. It must be tied to its offspring, but still, it's not very smart. Look below you! The massive monster lunged to attack. Yugon leaped lightly into the air, gripping his sword with confidence. I'll finish you in a single blow! A loud, violent explosion erupted. Yugon charged forward, still holding his axe. He flashed past, slashing the monster and causing it to shriek in pain. The creature's gigantic body began to collapse. Yugon repeatedly swung his axe, making the monster writhe and groan. He looked at it with a triumphant smirk. So, what are you going to do now? Are you going to roll over? That wouldn't be the smartest choice. He continued to slash at it. Yugon stared intently at the monster. Not yet. The monster, in agony, roared madly and writhed. He continued his relentless assault. A little more. He raised his sword and charged at the monster. Yugon rushed straight towards its gaping maw. Thanks for coming to find me. The monster was quickly destroyed by his fatal blows. Kang Seongchan trembled as he hugged Myung-hun's leg. Spare me, please, this isn't right. How could you do this to me when you know I'll die? He kicked Kang Seongchan away. Shut up, know your place. Everyone agreed to choose someone to die in their territory. The people on the ground protested. This is bullshit. You're the one who decided that on your own. That's right, when did we ever agree to that? Myung-hun was furious. Everyone's like this, they're all cursing you. He gritted his teeth and raised his knife. So you dare to come back again? Because I'll be the one to kill you, got it? System notification. Time remaining 000030. Everyone watched in horror as the timer counted down. 000017. 000013. Pathetic screams echoed. 000006. 000004. Myung-hun looked around warily. The time has come. 000003. Suddenly, he froze. Time stopped at 0.0. 0.03. He stared blankly at the watch screen. Had it stopped? A system notification appeared. You have passed the second training round. The safe zone will no longer shrink. U1 was confused. But why? The people around him were also wondering, are we safe now? We survived. The screen displayed, you have acquired 600 points. 15 hours remaining until the end of the second training round. On U1's side, the administrator's lackey exclaimed excitedly, Wow, you actually managed to kill it. He replied, it was a bit of a struggle. The administrator's lackey then suggested, would you like me to heal you? U1 immediately refused. If that's some kind of reward, I'll pass. A small wound like this can be healed just by increasing my constitution stat. It looked at him admiringly. You know, for an ordinary person to get this far in just the second training round, it's truly astonishing. He replied wearily, You're as noisy as ever. Yuan thought to himself, it's been 30 minutes since I killed the mother worm. He showed up later than I thought. The subordinates in charge of the training round probably didn't anticipate that the mother worm, the monster that maintains the ecosystem of this second round, would be killed. Which means there was no preset reward for hunting the mother worm. In other words, they have to be distributed based on the rewards I'm supposed to receive. Yu-1 looked questioningly at the administrator's lackey. So the reward is? He asked, knowing he was due one. The lackey continued, Because of your special actions, it seems you already know a thing or two about this world, huh? Yu-1 reflected, Well, I guess I finally understand. It would be stranger if I didn't, but most people don't understand, you know? The administrator's lackey revealed. Yu-Wan glared at it dangerously. The reward... The lackey looked back, flustered. Right, I get it. You can choose between 3 things. Yu-Wan asked, and what would those be? The administrator's lackey began to present the options. First, the right to skip ahead to the 5th training round. This option also includes all the information and rewards from rounds 3 and 4. Yu-Wan analyzed the offer. Cunning bastards. They must think rounds 3 and 4 hold a lot of value for me, so they're trying to tempt me to skip straight to 5. The administrator's lackey continued. The second reward is points. I don't think I need to explain this one. Right? Yu-Wan immediately asked. And the third option? The administrator's lackey announced. The final option is a connection to Olympus. You may not know this, but this training is essentially the starting point of this world. In the vast tower, there are many great organizations, as well as countless individuals with god-like power. I will recommend you to Olympus. Olympus is one of the major factions that rules the tower. With their help, your safety in the tower will be guaranteed once you complete the training. Yu-Wan hesitated. You said Olympus? Yes, the lackey confirmed. Yu-Wan thought to himself, I never considered this before. It's true, Olympus is one of the key factions that rules the tower. Kronos was also a ranker belonging to Olympus. If I borrow their strength, I could probably climb the tower much faster and more safely. But he answered coldly, the second one. I'll take the second one. The administrator's lackey was shocked. What? A system notification appeared. Reward distributed. You have received 10,000 points. The administrator's lackey started to panic. Wait, since you haven't spent any points yet, I'll let you choose again. You have to choose more carefully. I bet you only picked that because you don't realize how important Olympus is. You're going to regret this later, Yu-Wan retorted. Hey, subordinate, if you're here in that capacity, then just do your job properly. That last option you gave me, you didn't discuss it with the others, did you? And I'm sure the manager never approved it. The administrator's lackey jumped. How do you know about the manager? He began to probe further. Did the other subordinates get the same kind of deal you did? Are they all pushing Olympus too? Or are some of them talking about Asgard? Perhaps Deva? Or maybe even Lemegeton? The lackey shrieked in terror. What are you? Yu-Wan stood up. Thanks for the chat anyway. Thanks to you running your mouth, I've just figured out something else I need to do. The administrator's lackey rushed to stop him. Wait, what are you going to do? A message appeared on the screen. Do you wish to request a meeting with the manager for 1,000 points? Yu-Wan pressed the button on the screen. You'll find out soon enough. Suddenly, the ground around him began to shake violently. A system notification appeared. The manager has accepted your request. He stared at the screen, deep in thought. The training is supposed to be separate from the tower. But besides the participants, Olympus is involved with these subordinates too? I can't let this slide, because this could interfere with my future plans. The tutorial administrator appeared. A request for a meeting during the training that costs 1,000 points. Was that you? Yu-Wan calmly replied, I am Kim Yu-Gon, a participant in the tutorial. He chuckled. I know you killed over 1,000 zombies in the first tutorial, right? From the ground floor of the tutorial management tower, a voice spoke up. I've heard a lot about you, Kim Yu-Gon. The tutorial administrator questioned Yu-Gon. Do you know of my existence? And how did you know the conditions to meet me? He then recited the first rule of the tutorial. All tutorial information must be obtained through the participant's own abilities, and not be provided by the tower's management, a rule that you yourself established. He stared intently at him. The meaning of all information must be self-obtained is, more than anyone, he should know that I'm not lying. Within his jurisdiction, he can distinguish all truths from lies. The tutorial administrator remained silent. Of course, he was indifferent. Yu-Gon calmly exposed him. Instead, there has been an intervention in the tower. He repeated doubtfully. Here? Yu-Gon explained clearly. Olympus maintains contact with its subordinates. I received sponsorship from Olympus as a reward. The administrator's lackey stammered out an explanation under his threatening gaze. Administrator, it's not like that. He furiously threw a punch at him. The enraged tutorial administrator lifted his bloody hand. Those damn bastards from Olympus, on top of everything else. They dare to expand their influence here? Thank you. Thanks to you, I can now eliminate the rotten elements. Eugene coldly replied. The second rule of the tutorial. During the tutorial period, all of a participant's achievements must be converted into a corresponding reward. The tutorial administrator looked at him in silence. He questioned him directly. I used a considerable amount of points to summon you. What are your thoughts on this? Things are always difficult, aren't they? He said. When my subordinate checked your information, you didn't seem to have any particular irregularities or points of interest. But in truth, that seems to be the most interesting thing about you. Fine. You may not have killed it with your own hands, but that doesn't make much of a difference. A Loki, an entity close to a giant, was killed during the second tutorial by an ordinary participant. Yugon stared at the tutorial administrator. I'll take that as a compliment. He laughed with amusement. Well then, you've accomplished something great. So what would be a worthy reward, Let's see. You already have a lot of points. All right, you deserve at least this much. Yu-Wan silently sized up his hand. This was the method used to exchange points. It seemed the reward wasn't as special as he'd thought. A system window appeared. You have acquired the skill Mana Master. Mana Recovery, Mana Resistance, and Mana Sensitivity have increased. Your arcane power has increased by 5. Yugon couldn't believe his eyes. The tutorial administrator laughed smugly. I think this will satisfy you. Well then, I've dealt with my subordinate, so I'll be on my way now. We'll meet again in the third tutorial. With that, he suddenly vanished. Yugon doubtfully looked at the mana in his hand. Mana Master, he thought, startled. A skill of this level can appear in the tutorial? He recalled Mana Master, one of the authorities of an administrator, a being that controls mana. He clenched his fist. Its efficiency was still low, but it was a mana control skill. A force controlled through arcane power, and more important than anything else in the tower, mana. Kim Yugon raised his hand, lifting a mass of mana, Mana Sphere. A high-level mana control technique becomes usable once arcane power reaches the threshold of 40. The screen displayed his information. Kim Yugon, arcane power, 26. He tried to control the mana sphere in his hand, then threw it down forcefully, sending everything around him flying. Yugon looked at the shattered earth and rock around him. He hadn't expected the compensatory effect of the skill to be this good. It's still unstable, but that's fine. Should I be grateful to Olympus or something? But this is more than enough. I can't be satisfied with just collecting 10 items and imitating the power I had before I reversed time. The system announced the remaining time before the end of the second tutorial. Yugon looked at the monsters closing in, more and more and more elements that will destroy those seemingly all-powerful outer gods. I need more, a display showing the time remaining before the second training round ends. 10 minutes, 11 seconds. Kang Xiong-chan spoke up, annoyed. This is why I said we should have waited a little longer. Do you really think the government will just stand by while Hong Ede becomes a mess like this? Mi Ung-hun roared in anger. Shut up! Who says that after the second tutorial ends? There won't be a third or fourth one? What if the safe zone disappears while we're waiting? Kang Xiong-chan pleaded desperately. Then please, just until the last moment. Until time runs out, or let us... He didn't even listen, instead grabbing Kang Xiong-chan by the collar. You're such a pain in the ass. You guys over there, didn't I tell you to form a new supply team and get out there? If you can't do it yourself... Maybe I should just send you out alone. Don't be too sad. We were all supposed to die anyway, but thanks to you, so many of us managed to survive. This is what this place has become. A person suddenly stammered. Wait, isn't that a person? The crowd murmured amongst themselves. He must be insane. He's wandering outside the safe zone. Is he brave or just brain dead? Suddenly a voice shouted a warning. Wait! Below you! Watch out! The ground beneath Yugon started to crumble. A towering monster appeared before him. It opened its massive jaws, ready to devour him. Yugon launched himself into the air and quickly finished it off with a single kick. Everyone's jaws dropped in astonishment at the sight. The screen displayed the remaining time before the second training round ended. 0, 0, 0, 5, 1, 2. Myung-hun fumed as he heard Yugon say, Just ignore me and carry on with your little discussion. The screen displayed his information. Level 26, Kim Yugon. Area number 1131. Total points, 10,027. Unallocated stat points, 0. Yugon looked down at the monster he had killed, about to walk over and claim his reward when someone called his name. Yugon! He silently sized up the group before him. It looks like a few unrelated scumbags are acting like they're in charge. Myung-hun acted friendly, putting an arm around Yugon's shoulder. Where have you been? I was looking for you. I was worried when you just disappeared like that. The screen showed 1,427 out of 1,500 remaining. The crowd whispered, "Are they close?" He killed that monster with his feet. They looked on in fear as the remaining men, holding knives, coerced them. Myung-hun pushed Yugon forward. "Now, get inside." He spoke up, questioning the other men. "You're forcing them to get items?" He tried to explain. "They could have died. This benefits all of us." Yugon interrogated him. "So you're making them gamble with their lives for food again?" "Ah, something isn't right here." Myung-hun looked at him menacingly. "Listen carefully, Yugon. If you want to survive, you have to be a coward. Do you really think rules and morals have any value in a place like this? If we want to survive in this world, we have to be cruel, selfish, and ruthless. That's just common sense. There's no way you don't know that." Yugon stared back at him, defiant. The system announced, "Second training round, 000000. The second training session has ended. 500 points and items will be deducted from those in the safe zone. Because someone died, the item component will be removed." Yugon turned his back and walked away. "If that's how you want to survive, then go right ahead. I won't be a part of it, and I won't tell you what to do. But don't you cross the line for any reason." Myung-hun stared daggers at him. The system boundary appeared. "The third training session will begin now." He fumed. "That bastard! He's showing off again." The screen displayed, "Kill 50 monsters in the area and collect 50 essences. Time remaining, 72 hours. The area will be destroyed when time runs out. The gate will be activated in 70 hours. The entire city was plunged into a scene of chaos with monsters on a rampage. A group of people tried to fight them off. Another one. Damn it, when is this ever going to end? And yet the safe zone is still safe." "Whoa, it really is. Hey, is that how it works?" "It's just like a game, isn't it?" Myung-hun mused. "Kill monsters and collect essences. Do I really have to collect 50 essences by myself?" He growled. "You all heard that, didn't you? I know what to do." Elsewhere, mana essences rained down. Yugon pulled the mana essences from a monster. The screen showed mana essences, 132 out of 50. He tossed the monster's corpse aside and grabbed another. Yugon looked at the horde of monsters before him. "There must be a lot of them here. I wonder if I can reach the 1,000 threshold." He raised the mana in his hand. The screen showed Kim Yugon. Mana, 30. He confidently approached the horde of monsters. The screen displayed Mana Master. Efficiency, 0.5%. Yugon thought to himself, "I was lucky to collect so many essences during the second training session, but that's not nearly enough to satisfy me." The mana sphere in his hand grew larger. The screen showed Mana Sphere. Completion rate 100%. Mana Sphere has been completed. Mana Sphere has been added as a skill. Yugon gritted his teeth, looking at the flow of mana before him. He launched a powerful attack at the horde of monsters. He was stunned. It worked! I have to use up all my mana to use the Mana Sphere, and it's not easy to control. But if I increase my stats and its efficiency, it will definitely be very useful. He panted, exhausted. Anyway, using the Mana Sphere is a good measure of mana control, but it's not really my style. The monsters grew wary of Yugon. He stepped forward, skeptical. "Why are you all so scared? Let's try this again. I'm not going to waste any more of my time." The screen displayed the time, 22:43, 22. On the second day of the third training session, Kang So-hyung led a group of people, wondering, "Have we gone too deep?" A voice agreed in response, "Yeah, it's a bit creepy." Han Jung-ho, level 10, said dejectedly, "There's nothing else we can do. There were 1,400 of us at the start, and now there are only 400 left. We have to hide wherever we can." Kang Seong-chan, level 10, sighed as the chatter continued. Was Gahongdi Station always this spacious? I don't know. The world has gone to ruin, so it only makes sense that this place is a wreck too. Lim Joyeon, level 10, called out frantically from behind them, "Wait, you guys over there!" Han Junho wondered, "What is it?" Kang Seong-chan was also suspicious. "A convenience store?" Lim Joyeon exclaimed excitedly, "Thank God, we can finally fill our inventory bags with food." Han Junho rushed forward. "Let's go. I'm starving. I bet they have ramen, right?" Kang Seong-chan scoffed. "We don't have any water to cook it, you idiot." Han Junho just laughed. "Well, whatever. I'll just eat it raw." Suddenly, he was instantly killed by a monster. The others froze, stunned by the sight. They screamed in anguish. "Junho!" Kang Seong-chan gritted his teeth. Damn it, there are too many of them! Lim Joyeon mentally calculated. Can we even win? I've tried so hard to survive, and my level is pretty high. But why can't I move? Kang Seong-chan yelled, Joyeon! A monster lunged at her. She slashed at the monsters fiercely with her sword, but they attacked relentlessly until she couldn't fend them off and was bitten. Kang Seong-chan cursed in frustration. Damn it! The monsters shrieked loudly as one lunged at him. The screaming was non-stop. Lim Joyeon was terrified. No, it can't end like this. I want to live, and I've endured so much. Why do I have to die here? A monster attacked her from behind. She froze, seeing monsters everywhere. A voice rang out, You guys are really holding it together. It turned out to be Yu-won, holding a can in his hand. Well, I'm awake now. Lim Joyeon was stunned. Impossible. I've leveled up, and my stats are pretty high already. But he killed a monster with just a can? Yu-won threw the can at the monsters, annihilating them in an instant. He then drew his sword, ready to attack. He violently slashed at the surrounding monsters one after another. Gaining momentum, Yu-won raised his leg and kicked straight at them, making them shriek in pain. They were obliterated, their blood splattering everywhere. Everyone witnessed the astonishing sight in utter disbelief. Yu-won, tired, let out a sigh. He walked toward the other two. Kang Seong-chan spoke up. Thanks. Lim Joyeon, who was supporting him, added, Thank you for saving our lives. Suddenly, he collapsed. Lim Joyeon screamed, Seong-chan! Yu-won tossed a potion to them. First put this on, it's very effective. What's your vitality stat? Kang Seong-chan replied, around 17? Yu-won concluded, In that case, it's not enough to kill you. You just won't be able to use that arm anymore. Lim Joyeon urged him, Hurry up and apply it. Yu-won cracked his neck, annoyed. I must have slept for about 6 hours. I'm not tired anymore, but it would have been great to sleep a little longer. It's been 4 days since I last slept. I've been pushing myself too hard. I even had to buy odorless powder just to get some sleep. A screen displayed, odorless powder, 100 points. A powder that eliminates scent, effective in neutralizing the sense of smell of the monsters, which is incredibly keen. He glanced at the other two. I can't believe I was interrupted. Lim Joyeon hesitated. Sorry. Are you going to keep hunting? There are way more monsters down here than on the surface. If you're unlucky, you'll run into the earth snakes. Yu-won replied, I don't plan on hunting here. This is a restaurant and also my resting place. She was skeptical. A resting place? He turned his head and said, My hunting ground is somewhere else. They followed him to a deeper cellar where there was a pool of water. Kang Seong-chan was bewildered. So there really is a dungeon on the second basement level. Lim Joyeon agreed. The layout is completely different, isn't it? This is a real hunting ground. Yu-won questioned them. So what about you two? Why did you come here knowing it was dangerous? Lim Joyeon gripped her sword tightly. You've probably been down here the whole time, so you wouldn't know what's happening outside, would you? Gangs are starting to form on the surface. They're always suspicious of each other and even kill one another. On top of that, fighting over essence makes that place even more like hell. Yu-won turned his back. So you two should get going before you're attacked. Kang Seong-chan replied, They wouldn't bother following us down here. Lim Joyeon agreed. That's right. Yu-won kept walking. But you came down here, and you two still almost died. They replied, But we're still alive thanks to you. Kang Seong-chan grew wary. What's that sound? Yu-won stared at them. You say it's thanks to me. I can't promise I won't kill. Oh. You two for your essence. He gritted his teeth in his mind. We were too careless. We owe him our lives, but compared to the people on the surface, he's much more formidable. Kang Seong-chan spoke up. You must have already collected all the essence you need. You don't have to kill us. Yu-won looked at him darkly. What if I told you I want more? He replied, then warned them, Even if I don't kill you two, you'll still die in this place anyway. I don't need to tell you why, do I? Lim Joyeon was confused. That's strange. If he wanted to harm us, why would he waste his breath saying all that? Could it be? She asked Yu-won, What do you want from us? He smiled and glanced at them. He spoke, surprising them both. This deal isn't half bad. If you two do well, I'll share the essence with you. Let's go. A monster appeared, its mouth wide open, and attacked them. It chased after them, terrifying Kang Seong-chan. He was on the verge of tears. This is what he calls not a bad deal. He remembered Yu-won asking him before, Is your leg okay? He replied, you said, then run! Kang Seong-chan ran in fear, screaming, save me! Eugene suddenly appeared in front of the monster. He slashed it right across the face. The monster fell, crying out in pain. Then he ran to face another monster. It opened its mouth to attack Eugene, but he struck it straight in the mouth. It was quickly defeated too. Kang Seong-chan leaned on his hands, panting heavily. He thought to himself, this hunting speed is seriously no joke. If he always hunts at this speed, just how many essences will he end up with? Mana essences fell to the ground. He approached them. Maybe because the monster's levels are higher, the essence drop rate is also higher. It's only been 2 hours, and he already has 50 essences. It's more than just strong. Kang Seong-chan and Eugene picked up the mana essences. Eugene also helped put them in his bag. He's very different, he thought. Eugene asked Kang Seong-chan, how many? He stammered, 6 in total. You replied, here, I'll give you 1. He remembered, we lure the monsters, but he doesn't even give us a chance to hunt. What is he planning to do with all these essences? Kang Seong-chan was worried. What's taking Ju-yoon so long? Eugene replied, I'm sure she'll be back soon. He asked curiously, what level are you now? At this hunting speed, your level must be going up really fast. You answered his question. Leveling up is much slower now. I have to wait for the next training session to level up normally again. He was speechless. Just how high is his level that it can't increase anymore? Eugene explained further. A person's level is confidential information. Don't ask anyone, and if someone asks you, don't answer. It's the same for stats. Kang Seong-chan broke out in a cold sweat looking at you. But you just asked about my physical stats. Eugene looked at him, exasperated. Oh, right. I should have just let your arm become useless. He clutched his head. I'll remember that. You flicked the blood off your sword. Don't just lure monsters for me. Take the chance to kill a few yourself. Besides collecting essences, you should also focus on raising your level. Lim Ju-yoon ran towards Eugene in a panic. She's leading a whole horde of monsters this way. Kang Seong-chan sighed wearily. We just took a short break. Eugene turned around. Here they come. He moved towards where she was running. The sounds rang out again, one after another. Kang Seong-chan also killed the monsters that came at him. The system announced, level up. He let out a breath. Got it. Lim Ju-yoon immediately asked him, Seong-chan, did you just level up? He replied, yeah, what about you? She also spoke up. I did. He picked up the mana essences from the ground. Eugene walked over to them. Are you done? Kang Seong-chan replied, we're done. Can we keep these essences? You bent down and picked up a mana essence. Of course. Those are the monsters you killed after all. You handed the essence to Lim Ju-yoon. You both have 50 essences, right? She replied, yes, when we got here we only had 20. I can't believe we collected them so quickly. Thank you so much, Eugene. And Eugene stated frankly, thanks to you two, my hunting efficiency increased by 50%. He thought to himself, not to mention I've collected more essences than usual. The remaining time is 2 hours and 57 minutes. The gate is about to activate. You turned to leave. If you're done, let's go. Kang Seong-chan was overjoyed. Finally, we can go back up, Lim Ju-yoon mumbled. I wonder if it's still chaotic out there. Kang Seong-chan replied, I bet it's even worse than before. The third training is about to end. I'm so worried about everyone up there. A voice spoke up in the area. Look, the gate is turning red. We're about to get inside. A brown-haired man touched his pocket. Everyone's trying to hide their weapons, just making small talk to gain an advantage later. The screen displayed essences 45 out of 50. A bald man also looked towards the crowd. The essence drop rate is too low, so instead of risking their lives hunting monsters, killing other people for their essences is faster. The brown-haired man was annoyed. Tisk, everyone's thinking the same thing, the bald man mused. But it seems they don't want to act just yet. The brown-haired man gritted his teeth. It'll be different when the gate opens. He thought to himself, once the gate opens, fighting and looting will break out. The bald man said to him, Hey boss, that ringleader over there is looking our way, isn't he? Min Ung-yun slowly walked towards them. The bald man warned, He's coming over here. The brown-haired man tisked in annoyance. Min Ung-yun asked them, Long time no see. How have you been for the past 2 days? The brown-haired man replied, I don't think we're close enough to be greeting each other like this. Min Ung-yun laughed, still as arrogant as ever. Even though you know what's about to happen, you understand the situation, don't you? When the gate opens, there'll be a sea of blood. The brown-haired man gritted his teeth. That son of a bitch. He gathered so many people just to wait for this moment. He asked Myung-hun, "How much essence do you need?" Myung-hun gave a sinister smile. "Well, compared to your side, my side has more mouths to feed, so how about 700? The brown-haired man was startled. 700? He clenched his fist. We only have a little over 300 combined. What a ridiculous offer. It seems a clash with him is unavoidable. Myung-hun smiled. All right then, just 400. I'll spare you guys lives. We'll find the rest ourselves. The brown-haired man looked at his despicable expression. Damn it, if I refuse, I'll have to fight all of them. 50 against 20. We won't get out unscathed. I'm supposed to be grateful he lowered it to 400. I'd rather fight him to the death. Suddenly, a voice spoke up. Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. Lim Joyeon's group arrived. The brown-haired man was startled, recognizing him. He stared in shock at the person carrying the box, Kim Yugon. Yugon bluntly put the box down. Myung-hun asked, Haven't seen you around, have I? Where have you been? He replied, I had things to do. Myung-hun asked him, Have you gathered enough essence yet? He answered calmly, Of course. He took out a bag, and mana essences spilled out. A whole container of mana essence appeared before everyone. Holy crap! The crowd started murmuring. How many is that? At least 1,000. Myung-hun gritted his teeth. That guy. How did he gather so many? Wait. There's no need to be afraid of him. I've gathered this many people, after all. My side has 50 people. No matter how strong he is, he can't fight all of us, Eugene spoke up. The floor. Look closely at the floor. He was bewildered. The floor? What is it? A line? He coldly asked him, You all need this, right? I, however, do not. I already have enough. The crowd started clamoring. Then give some to me. Me too. Yugon clenched the mana in his hand. It's not free. 100 points each. If you want to buy, ask for my permission and step into this circle. People started calculating. 100 points. That's too expensive. How many do I have? The shop doesn't sell essence. We can only buy it from him. Myung-hun gripped his sword. Really? You selfish bastard? If you just gave them away for free? You could save so many people's lives. But instead, you're selling them. What a farce. What if we don't have enough money? Yugon looked at him in silence. Yugon replied calmly, What a stupid question. If you want to buy, then buy. I'm not forcing anyone. If you want to buy, come here. Pay the points first and it's yours. Sell items, sell your stats. I don't care how you get the points. Hearing this, the crowd started murmuring among themselves. Sell items? Can we do that? Seeing that his scheme had failed, Myung-hun gritted his teeth in fury. He decided that if he couldn't have it, he'd ruin it for everyone. You bastard, I bet you killed other people and stole all this essence. And now you have the nerve to sell it for profit? You think everyone here is going to accept that? Despite the accusations, he remained unfazed. And what if I didn't steal it? Myung-hun was determined to argue. Who's going to believe you, huh? At that moment, Joyeon ran forward from a distance. You have no right to falsely accuse people of being thieves. You killed my friend. Do you have any idea how hard we had to run to escape from you people? Do you? Seo Eunjong also stood up to testify. If he was a thief like you say, we would have been dead already. We were with him the whole time. Talk about the pot calling the kettle black. What the hell do you people know about him? Myung-hun gritted his teeth, trembling for a moment. This is utter nonsense. So what? What can the three of you do, huh? You probably think you're safe just because you're hiding behind that Yugon guy, huh? As soon as he finished speaking, he roared an order to his underlings. Kill them all for me! Immediately after, the whole group brandished their weapons and aggressively rushed towards the group. A figure moved like a bolt of lightning, flying straight forward. The speed was so incredible that no one could see anything, but the two sword-wielders in the lead were quickly decapitated by Eugene with a single slash. It seemed he had been truly angered. Eugene looked up fiercely. You've all gone too far. The man standing closest stared at the two bodies gushing blood, momentarily terrified. Not just Myung-hun, but his other cronies also felt a chill run down their spines. Myung-hun then started to think about what he had said. Could it be that too far he mentioned just now was... He recalled his words. My message remains the same, he continued. If you can't afford it, I will sell you the cores. Anyone who wants to buy can step into the circle after getting my permission. To buy or not is your choice. I'm not forcing you, but if anyone tries to cross this line with other intentions..." He paused, looking fiercely at Myung-hun's group, and warned, "You will die." The system notification appeared. Basic skill activated. Myung-hun still paid no heed to his words. He yelled, "Damn it! Get him! Finish him!" The whole group decided to fight him together, but Yugon didn't flinch. He faced the entire group by himself. Anyone who charged forward was met with a single strike from Yugon, their heads separated from their bodies. He weaved through them lightly a few times, and they fell to the ground like scattered straw. Myung-hun was terrified, unable to believe his eyes. He instinctively backed away. How is this possible? Only now did he feel utterly terrified. Was I the one who forgot the true nature of this world? I have to run. That's right, that line. He said only those who cross it will die. I can make it. I'll be fine. I'll live. Yugon looked at him fiercely. You think you're safe just by standing over there? He looked at him and gave a wicked smile. I've memorized every single one of your faces. Myung-hun felt a sudden chill, breaking out in a cold sweat. He remembers all of our faces. What does that mean? Before he could find an answer, Eugene aggressively swung his sword without hesitation, and another head went flying, landing on the ground where he had drawn the line, splattered with fresh blood. Not only that, but bodies were piled up messily, a truly chilling sight. Of all the men Myung-hun had brought, including himself, not a single one managed to survive. Leaving the scene, Eugene gathered his things and spoke with annoyance. What a mess. He walked away under the terrified gazes of everyone there. They stared at him as if he were some strange creature. No one dared to utter a single word in the face of his overwhelming presence. The crowd automatically parted to make way for him. A man watching from a distance couldn't help but tremble. One person killed that many people? A single individual with enough overwhelming power to crush an entire gang? This is just the kind of world this is. I thought I had adapted well, but I was wrong. Thinking this, and with some calculation in mind, he raised his hand and shouted, I'll buy your cores! A subordinate looked on, bewildered. Hey, boss, he asked, how do we have the points for that? The other man replied, I already asked the lackeys. This knife can be sold for 500 points. The man still hesitated, but his boss explained, Think carefully, you idiot. All of his cores were most likely obtained purely from hunting monsters. The subordinate asked, confused, How do you know that? The boss patiently continued, He's that strong. How many monsters do you think he's killed, huh? He didn't even bother taking the cores from the people he just killed. That proves all these cores weren't stolen, making this a completely trustworthy transaction. Eugene turned his head to look as the man approached him with the intent to buy the cores. Sell me 7. The man thought to himself, The rules and laws of this world are set by the strong like him. The two quickly shook hands, sealing the deal. Eugene quickly gained another 700 points. The crowd buzzed with excitement. That's right. If we buy cores, we can enter the next training gate. How many points do I have? I only have 200 points. Watching the man successfully disappear behind the training gate, the crowd started to clamor. I'll buy some too. I want to buy some. I'll buy 7. I'll buy 10. Does anyone have spare points? I promise I'll pay you back in the next training round over here. The administrator's lackey was busy inspecting items. This item is slightly damaged. I'll buy it for 300, that's it. The other person disagreed. You're lowballing me. To the next person, he lowballed again. This item isn't very common, I'll pay 200. People got angry. You damn swindlers! You sold it to me for 1,000 points and now you're only buying it back for this much? To another person, each stat point is only worth 100 points. So 3 perception stats get me 300 points, right? But Eugene was continuously gaining over 1,000 points at once. He thought helplessly, what dishonest business. There should be a limit to how much you rip people off. He thought, still it's better than dying here. But later, when they climb the tower, they'll regret the stats they lost today. His total point count had now surpassed his initial estimate, specifically reaching 167,400. He calculated silently. Either way, this is good for me. I thought having 100,000 points was pretty good, but with this, earning that much is a piece of cake, and I can easily trade for that thing. Juyun called out from a distance, Are you leaving now? He wondered, Why haven't you two left yet? She walked closer. We want to go with you. He bluntly refused. I have no intention of making allies. Cheon Sayan said sincerely, you can just treat us like disposable pawns like before. If we're no longer useful, just throw us away. Hearing this, his face darkened and he fell silent for a long moment. Finally, Eugene spoke. Unfortunately, this is where we part ways. He continued, don't rely on anyone or you two won't survive. Besides, I'm not leaving. Cheon Sayan was surprised. Huh? You're not going? At this, both of them fell silent, staring at him blankly, not knowing what else to say. Eugene held up his empty bag. See, I don't have a single core left. As soon as he finished speaking, he casually tossed the completely empty bag onto the ground. Cheon Sa-yeon was so shocked he was speechless. Why would you do that? So what are you going to do now? You were supposed to keep 50 for yourself. You idiot, Eugene said calmly. I'm not going anywhere. Hurry up and go. This place is about to get chaotic. Ju-yoon ran after him, calling out, Eugene! He didn't look back. She watched his retreating back, looking like she was about to cry. Cheon Sa-yeon didn't know what to say and could only pull her hand, whispering, Let's go, Ju-yoon. And so the two of them finally went on the path they were meant to take. As for Eugene, he had his own business to attend to. He said to himself, the next training round is defense. There are 4 rounds, survival, competition, hunting, and finally defense. A man quickly walked up and asked him, Wait, did you sell all your cores? He replied coldly and concisely, Yes, I sold them all. Hearing this, the man trembled. He knelt on the ground in despair. Yuan paid him no mind. He figured he should get moving, and fast. This place is about to become a battlefield over the core, and so he wandered the streets alone, leaving the tormented, suffering crowd behind him. Eugene calculated that there was only 1 hour left. Suddenly, he noticed a nearby shop. A purple streak quickly appeared in the sky above the entire city. That aura grew stronger and stronger, catching him by surprise. Something put Eugene on alert. What is that? He wondered. In midair, a disheveled, bearded man quickly appeared before him. He looked at Eugene inquisitively. Did you call me? Eugene replied, I didn't intend to call you. Where's your minion? The man said, I'm in the middle of recruiting new people, but I'm also short-staffed since a bunch of my people were just cut. Eugene was surprised. You've already narrowed the scope? The man explained, 1 out of every 3 has a link. Kids these days are so lazy. And thanks to you, most of my subordinates are wasting their time here, and progress in other sectors is slowing down. Eugene wondered, why is that my fault? The man explained, annoyed, because over 100 people have used the shop to buy items through you. Eugene asked nonchalantly, but wouldn't that be better for business? Besides, do you really need that much manpower just to run a single shop? Is that why you came here? The man snapped, a single one? It's not just about the shop. Do you really not understand what's going on? Eugene calculated that he was being specifically targeted by the manager. Normally, if a manager can't control something, they ignore it. But it seems this time is different. The man continued, you completed the 3rd round with 160,000 points. Your level is high and your strength is great enough to overturn this entire training system. Eugene replied calmly, that's my intention. If there are no issues, I'll be on my way. This is the path I will walk. I'm going to use the shop. You're one annoyingly stubborn bastard. I've been a manager for a long time, but this is the first time I've ever met someone like you. Right after that, he held out his hand, and a shop quickly opened in midair. A store with everything he could possibly need appeared. The administrator spoke, take what you need. Here, start with this. A system notification quickly appeared. You have used 10,000 points and received an intermediate player's bag. Your items will be revealed with the command, Open Inventory. Eugene proceeded to buy a sword that emitted the cold air of the north, using another 50,000 points. As Eugene quickly opened his inventory, the administrator looked on, surprised. The Arctic Iron Blade, huh? You picked a difficult item to wield. After that, he spent another 80,000 points on the astrological heat cloak and a magic-resistant item. The cloak was enchanted with ancient magic and made from a special material. The other was a shield that could resist magic. Eugene thought, just as I expected. It's no surprise the training system has been thrown into chaos. These items will be useful on the upper floors. It's a good thing I managed to buy them. He then spent an additional 20,000 points to buy 4 frost crystals. These ice crystals were formed in temperatures below 0 degrees Celsius. He kept choosing. And finally, I want a sharp sword. He spent an additional 2,000 points to purchase it. The administrator spoke up. Your final item is just a regular sword? It's nothing special compared to all your other items. Eugene, however, seemed pleased. But I like it. His remaining point balance was 5,400. The guide continued, Well, no one can challenge you now, none of the other players in this tutorial anyway. No one can pierce that shield, but that only applies to players. Hearing this, Eugene was a bit surprised. Once their business was concluded, the guide quickly departed. I'm really looking forward to this. After the man vanished, Eugene was left alone. He thought in silence for a moment, then looked up at the clock on the system notification and thought to himself, It's starting. The third training round has ended. As soon as the announcement finished, the screen shattered. The system announced again, You have failed this round. The destruction of this area will now commence. An electric grid quickly enveloped the city and all the monsters within. Eugene was calm. It has been a while since I've seen a sky like this. He took a closer look at the cloak's description. It was a cloak enchanted with ancient magic, made from a special material. Its effect? Resistance to fire magic. Increases magical power. Eugene calculated, It will protect me from the heat of the flames. This is a good item to help me fight the fire in this tower. At that moment, he heard echoing screams. It's so hot! Help me! Somebody, please! I don't want to die! Eugene started walking toward the sounds. He could tell there were still 3 people who hadn't left. The 3 of them were trying to crawl forward, desperately trying to escape the heat. As soon as he saw Eugene, one of the men couldn't help but grit his teeth. Why are you... He was stunned to see Eugene standing there, completely unfazed, as if nothing was wrong. Suddenly, a great tremor shook the ground. The earth began to show signs of cracking, and a terrifying explosion erupted immediately after. The 3 people, being incinerated by the flames, screamed in agony, Help me! Please! Their cries were chilling. It all happened so suddenly that even Eugene couldn't react in time. He could only stand there, stunned, as the system displayed a notification. The destruction of 176 giants begins. In just a moment, the entire city was engulfed in a sea of flames. The surrounding scenery was now utterly devastated. From within those cracks, a skeletal monster crawled out, its eyes glowing with strange sparks. But the problem was, it wasn't just one. There was a whole swarm of them. They were the scrap demons. Yuan, already holding his weapon and shield, was waiting. He couldn't help but remark, That's a lot of them. But they weren't the most dangerous ones. He watched for a moment, then spoke up. We meet again. Eugene thought, There must be a reason they call this a destruction. And just then, a low-level demon appeared. The demon, Suruta. Yuan calmly looked at him, unfazed. We meet again. Suruta, Yuan thought. In Ragnarok, he was known as a colossal mountain throughout the event. But here, he was only the size of a house. His true form gradually revealed itself. It was a monster made entirely of fire. Yuan thought, So another world was destroyed and devoured by it. The 176th Sinner Demon. Following it were dozens of scrap demons. Yuan sighed wearily. A world ruled by destruction and annihilation shouldn't have been born in the first place. He raised his voice in a challenge. Suruta, are you going through menopause or something? You seem so sentimental. Stop acting so high and mighty and let's get this started. He looked at him. Yuan's face resembled an old rival of Suruta's. He couldn't help but speak. You have the same eyes as that monkey from Mount Hugo, he roared. I wonder if you'll be able to leave this place alive. And right after that, it ordered the lesser demons to charge and attack him. Yuan, facing 100 of them, wasn't panicked at all and charged straight towards them, his sword, fiercely slashing at the face of the monster in front. Then Suruta quickly threw fire at Eugene to burn him. He watched with amusement, anticipating Eugene's struggle. After that attack, after the explosion, thick smoke billowed up. All of them stood waiting to see the result. But unfortunately for them, he was completely unharmed. Suruta knew just by looking. That's no ordinary cloak. You prepared it to face me. The system quickly announced. The fire robe has blocked damage from the explosion. The fire robe has gained resistance to fire attribute attacks. Yuan smiled faintly in satisfaction, looking at the monster before him. Everything has its price. He continued, I didn't prepare this just to deal with you. I'm going to defeat you. He found that extremely funny. Defeat me? What arrogant and shameless words. You dare say such a thing on your first time here, young man? Yuan said, annoyed. Enough talk. Suruta raised his voice. Let's see how long you can keep up that arrogance. He didn't want to argue with these monsters anymore. Yuan glared. "You talk too much." Right after saying that, he quickly leaped into the air, charging into the middle of the encirclement. The system announced again, "You have successfully leveled up," right after he wiped out a group of smaller monsters. But what was more infuriating was, that demon resorted to a sneak attack. It attacked from his side, and in an instant, a shocking explosion rang out. The destructive power of this demon was not to be underestimated. Yuan was fine, but it seemed his magic resistance shield had cracked after that attack. But he still didn't give up. Eugene ran forward, charging straight towards Saruta by himself. A notification panel appeared. "You have leveled up. All stats, agility, strength, and arcane power have increased by 1. Yuan found it a bit difficult to breathe now. He began to calculate, "Even though I'm wearing the fire robe, after enduring this heat for 2 hours, my whole body is heating up. The explosions from these scrap demons when they die are too dangerous. They don't do much damage, but I can't avoid them, so I have to take the full blast every time. I could use mana orbs for long-range attacks, but that's not good for a prolonged fight, and it consumes a lot of mana too. The shield is about to reach its limit. It's about to break after blocking nearly 100 explosions. I guess it's time I do that." Thinking this, he looked at the monster and shouted, "Saruta, why don't you drag your ass down here and tell these small fries to get lost?" Saruta looked at him resentfully. "They are special items. I'm truly curious how you managed to deal with them during the tutorial." Hearing this, he was momentarily surprised. Then, he aggressively launched a powerful attack towards him. Eugene was momentarily surprised, but he still raised his voice in defiance. "And what about you? Don't you feel ashamed for just sitting around during the tutorial?" Saruta said, "That is the punishment for the unworthy, but you are worthy. You have everything it takes to climb to the higher floors of the tower, become a high ranker, and dominate it. But why are you still here? Are you planning to sacrifice yourself for those weaklings?" Eugene replied, "I already told you before. I'm doing this to hunt you." Hearing this, Saruta laughed with amusement. "You really intend to defeat me?" Right after that, he fiercely raised the sword in his hand. "All right, then. That's why I will face you." Yuan gritted his teeth, holding the shield in front of him as he thought to himself, "I've already fulfilled the internal conditions. I'm sure I'll succeed." After blocking the attack, the crack on Eugene's shield deepened. That massive sword swung ferociously down on the small Eugene standing before it. Fortunately, he was unharmed. His determined and sharp eyes were exactly like that person's. Saruga had met Eugene and heard the voice of the great sage, Heaven's equal. "Do you want to know how I got these eyes? Actually, there's a special method. I failed in the 3rd round. I didn't lose because I was weak. There was a special reason. But that doesn't matter. What's most important is what you gain after the battle. Do you know about this destruction that the training round brings? Listen carefully, Eugene. These eyes are actually..." He paused, looking toward Saruta, startling him. Saruta looked at the ruined ground, thinking, "How strange. I can feel it." He didn't dodge. He took that hit head on. But why? Contrary to what he expected, he wasn't dead. What surprised Saruta even more was that he was able to get back up. He found it incredibly strange. "I thought he would have died from that heat." Eugene thought of the great sage, Heaven's equal. That battle-hungry guy challenged him hundreds of times, and in all those fights, he only managed to win a few times. There were a few reasons for that. With the Ruyi Jingu Bang, which can extend infinitely, and the Somersault Cloud, which can summon wind and rain and travel to the ends of the earth at the speed of light. And also, the secret power of immortality he gained from eating the peaches of immortality, a treasure of the celestial realm. But the most important reason he was so strong? Speaking of which, a system notification chimed. "You have met the conditions to unlock the hidden item. Monkey Eyes." A hidden item is part of the system and appears as an item or a skill. It serves to support the player. The Monkey Eyes can synchronize with fire monsters and has the ability to detect good and evil, as well as discern truth from lies. It adds resistance to fire and its effects, and lessens the impact of the fire attribute. And just then, Eugene received the Monkey Eyes. Back to the matter at hand, Yuan sighed in relief. "Even with all this gear, I thought I was being burned alive. Don't tell me he also endured that for so long to get these eyes, and without any special items at that. His body really can withstand any ordeal." Saruta was surprised. Those eyes," he thought. "I can't believe it. To think there'd be a day I'd respect that monkey so much." Eugene said arrogantly, "Thanks, Saruta. With this, I'm ready to kill you." Eugene was ready for battle. He looked at him with contempt. How ridiculous. What do you think you can do? In that pathetic state, Eugene quickly swallowed the ice crystal. Immediately, his temperature began to drop, dispelling the burn effect. The ice attribute has been added to your arcane power. Eugene could feel the heat that had been surrounding him rapidly disappearing. Eugene gritted his teeth. Actually, my whole body is freezing over now. He was satisfied. Hey, Saruga, you of all people should know what this aura surrounding me is. It is the complete opposite of your fire. At the same time, he fiercely launched another critical strike at him. The surrounding space heated up from this immense surge of power. The astrological heat shell is resisting Saruta's fire of destruction and has gained additional resistance to fire attribute attacks. At the same time, the fiery golden eyes are also resisting Saruta's fire of destruction. His body temperature is dropping rapidly. Burn effect resistance. Saruta never expected that after all this time he would finally face such a formidable opponent. At that moment, Eugene quickly launched an ice attack at him. The force of the attack surprised him so much that he couldn't react in time. Eugene didn't stop there. He leaped up and fiercely kicked at Saruta. His massive body couldn't dodge in time. A jolt of pain shot through Saruta as he roared furiously, "How dare you!" A fierce look appeared in his eyes. "All right, I can do this." But Saruta wouldn't give up. He launched another dangerous strike at him. Eugene was instantly on guard. "Damn it! That attack is too dangerous. I have to dodge." Just then, the fiery golden eyes precognition ability activated. But Saruta didn't give up. He continued to attack him relentlessly, causing the surrounding earth and rock to fly everywhere. The sword in Eugene's hand was affected by the heat. Because of his continuous dodging, the layer of ice surrounding it temporarily melted. So, he was a bit tired. Eugene stood still, panting heavily. He swallowed 2 more frost crystals and was hit with the frost burn effect, causing his body temperature to drop sharply. He thought to himself, "My body can't hold out against these cold effects for much longer. I have to end this quickly." With that thought, Eugene fell silent to observe the situation for a moment, also using the time to quickly come up with another plan. He launched himself into the air to dodge another one of its attacks and flew straight up. He figured that at this point, there was no need to conserve mana anymore. The secret sword skill was quickly activated. Right after, he gripped the sword in his hand, switching from a defensive stance to an offensive one just as Eugene had planned. It couldn't react in time and let out a huge scream of pain. Pressing his advantage, Eugene continued with a monoburst skill, looking like he wanted to end this fight quickly. The force of this attack made everything around them explode. He switched from a frontal assault to an attack from behind, bringing a wave of pain upon it. The monoburst skill was quickly summoned. Saruga spun around fiercely in all directions to pinpoint Eugene's location. Its back had been frozen solid by his power. Cracks even appeared on it. Right after that, Eugene leaped up and slashed down hard, shattering the thin layer of ice. He then fiercely slammed a powerful palm strike onto the back of Saruga's neck. Eugene launched himself straight onto its back. It seemed he had decided to finish it off now. The monster roared in anger. "You insolent brat! You're just a kid who hasn't even climbed the tower! So how dare you speak like that?" Saruga screamed, raging. The ice attribute and the astrologer's robe were resisting Saruga's fire. He calculated that he had used up all his preventive measures to counter its flames, and yet he still couldn't close the gap. Yuan was using his fiery golden eyes to absorb Saruga's flames, but his attempt to counter its fire failed. Burn effect increased to level 2. Burn effect increased to level 3. Your resistance to the fire element has increased by 1. Saruga roared in anger, displaying its power. "I am the winner!" But it didn't expect that he would use all his strength to stab straight into the back of its neck, because the opponent was quite strong after this stab. Eugene's sword, as a result, developed several cracks. And right after that, the system notification quickly appeared. "You have defeated the Annihilator of the tutorial." Eugene panted heavily, exhausted. His entire hand was swollen from the frostbite. Finally, he had leveled up. Eugene shouted wearily, I really beat him!" But this was just the beginning of the journey. Saying this, he recalled the past, the arduous battles he fought alongside everyone before. Yuan gave a satisfied smile. "It was one hell of a tough journey, you bastards." A notification popped up. An unimaginable achievement. Because you have achieved an impossible feat, the calculation of your rewards will be temporarily postponed. Yugon gradually opened his eyes after a draining battle. It seemed he had a really good sleep. He tried to push himself up, even though his body was still in great pain. Yugon let out a sigh of relief. He looked at his hand. The burns were still fresh, so he probably wasn't out for long. His body still felt a bit cold, but he was completely battered. He recalled the battle and thought to himself, I thought I was a goner. Just to get the fiery golden eyes, I had to go through all sorts of trouble, and the tutorial isn't even over yet. The road ahead is still long, so I'll stop complaining. Looking at Tsuruga lying motionless on the ground, he silently assessed it. Without the flames, it looks really ugly. But this isn't an ordinary corpse. Demon corpses usually have items inside. Since this is Tsuruga, there must be something good, he thought, while rummaging through its corpse to see if there was anything interesting. Just as Eugene thought, there really was something good inside. It made his eyes light up. It was a giant's heart. The heart of the demon Tsuruga, a giant born in the land of fire. This heart is imbued with the power of a giant and radiates an intense aura. Classification: Elixir. Effect: gain the strength of a giant and a corresponding amount of mana. He thought to himself, I want to use it right away, but I'm not strong enough yet. It will drastically change my body, but to handle that, I'll need a lot more stamina. A familiar voice rang out, interrupting Eugene's train of thought. The administrator, sounding impatient, spoke up. Are you done yet? Yuan felt annoyed. You're here again? The man grumbled. I should be the one saying that. You again? Yuan said to him. My path is still a long one. The administrator complained. The balance of the tutorial is completely messed up. Because of you, those other guys keep complaining to me. He recalled how the kid had continuously sought out and killed all the monsters and couldn't help but hold his forehead in exasperation. What a headache, he said to Eugene. You'll be sent straight to the tutorial area. The fourth one has already started. And they're about to finish too. Eugene asked, Really? How much time is left? The administrator told him, About 4 hours. Eugene was satisfied. 4 hours? That's more than enough. The man replied, Of course it is. I had to negotiate with administrators from other floors about your reward. It took forever to sort out. Right after that, the system added the reward. You have received 10,000 points and the heaven-destroying star. Yuan was surprised. The heaven-destroying star? I thought I knew about all the high-level skills. But this is the first time I've ever heard of this. An A+ rank skill? Another thing you normally can't find in the tutorial. The description appeared. You are destined to destroy even the heavens with your abilities. The value of destiny will change based on the value of the lives you have taken. Rank A+. Proficiency 0.00%. Effect: all stats increase by 3 points. Stats are further increased based on the enemies you kill. He calculated, not every high-rank skill is good. But since this one increases my stats, it'll be pretty useful. Not to mention, it has a proficiency level. This skill isn't even complete yet. Anyway, a stat boost is a stat boost. The administrator continued, You have received your rewards. Do you need anything else? I'll buy 1 lesser red potion. The administrator was startled, marveling, Spending points like water, are we? In a moment, he received the item, costing him a total of 10,000 points. This was a very bitter potion that increased mana and endurance. After the transaction was complete, the administrator quickly departed. He instructed him to take the potion, then rest and wait. Immediately after using it, his mana and endurance increased by 1. The administrator bid him farewell, then vanished. The tutorial system. Your wounds and stamina will be recovered shortly. Eugene relaxed, thinking, I have 4 hours. Until then, I have to recover my energy and prepare for the 5th tutorial. All right, then. The 5th tutorial is a battle against time, he thought as he leaned back and let out a long sigh. After a while, he finally opened his eyes again. The monster's corpse was still there. It seemed Eugene had regained some of his strength after resting. A blue light began to appear at his feet, enveloping him. Eugene was quickly transported to another place. The final tutorial was beginning. Very quickly, he landed in a different environment. The moment his feet touched the ground, Eugene began looking around to observe his surroundings. It looked like he wasn't the only one here. The others seemed to have arrived earlier. A man took a deep breath and smelled the sea. The person standing next to him asked, Where is this place? There are so many people. How big is this place anyway? To put it briefly, this was the first time that tutorial participants from different worlds had been gathered together. This was what the tower called the final tutorial. The notification board quickly displayed, Worlds merged. The final tutorial will begin now. A murmur went through the crowd. The final tutorial? Is it really over? Of course not. It's a tutorial, shut up. An announcement rang out. The island of Baraganda is slowly sinking into the water. There is only one condition to escape the island and prove your worth. 1. Kill the boss at the island's summit. Your level of contribution to defeating the boss will be converted into points. The final reward will be decided based on your points and the remaining time. The time limit is 30 days. The island will be submerged when time runs out. The system began the countdown right after the announcement finished. People were shocked. What? A month? Eugene thought to himself. They're surprised because before the time limits were only somewhere between 1 hour and 4 days. There's no need to rush into battle right away. Having more time to reach the finish line is a good thing, but on the other hand, it also means it could take up to a month. To defeat the boss, that's just how strong it is. Eugene observed the expressions of those around him, sizing them up. A few people seemed to understand the situation already. One man stepped forward and said, "Everyone heard that, right? There must be a reason we were all brought here. How about we cooperate?" The crowd was hesitant. "Should we?" The man quickly continued. "For now, let's all introduce ourselves." From within the crowd, a cold voice spoke up. "I refuse." The group fell silent. He spoke arrogantly. "Did someone say we were comrades? Comrades should be people I can trust to watch my back. Therefore, I will choose them myself. One look is all it takes to see that you people are not worthy." One of them exclaimed in surprise, "What the hell?" It seems Eugene knew him. "So that guy's here too." A blonde-haired man shouted in frustration and charged toward him. "You conceited bastard!" The man who had refused had a cold expression. His eyes glowed like lamps as his entire body radiated crackling, lightning-like power. He powered up with a grunt. The entire group felt a powerful electric current run through their bodies, making them stagger. It seemed the arrogant man had no intention of holding back, as the crowd was electrocuted so severely they were lifted into the air. Then, with a light flick of his hand, he sent them crashing to the ground. The ear-splitting sound of breaking bones immediately followed. He spoke with a cold, contemptuous tone. "A bunch of insects." That person was Hakon. He called himself the heir to the throne of Olympus, a descendant of the god Zeus. Everyone looked at the people lying motionless on the ground and cursed in outrage. "That madman!" Someone wondered, was that a skill? Eugene thought, it's only the 5th tutorial, and he's already this strong. No wonder he's attracted so much attention from the tower. That's the power of a pure blood. Pure bloods are those who were born and raised within the tower, and then decided to climb it. They experience the mysteries of the tower from the moment they're born, so they are on a completely different level from the other players. This game isn't fair at all. In the past, he was also the one who contributed the most during the 5th tutorial. Eugene silently walked away. There's no reason to get involved with that guy. I hate loudmouths. Suddenly, a loud voice boomed, calling out to him. "Speak of the devil." Eugene glanced over to see Hagen, for some reason, already running towards him. He asked again, "What are you?" Yugon asked back calmly, "Are you talking to me?" He wondered to himself, when did he get here? The man looked at him and answered bluntly, "Yes, you." Then he pointed directly at Yugon's robe. "Is that an astrological heat cell? That's not an item one can obtain in the tutorial. So how did you get it?" Yugon answered calmly, getting straight to the point. "I bought it with points." This astonished Hagen. He marveled to himself. He managed to buy something that expensive? Unable to hide his curiosity, Hagen asked him directly, "What level are you?" Yugon didn't hesitate to ask back, "Isn't asking that a bit rude?" Hagen scratched his head awkwardly. "Well, you have a point, but that's pretty much common knowledge in the tutorial." Seeing that he didn't want to say anything, the man quickly waved his hand. "All right, I won't ask any more. Instead, do you want to form a party with me?" Yugon flatly refused. "No thanks, I'll pass." As an arrogant person, Hagen never thought he would be rejected so mercilessly. He was in slight disbelief. Seeing the boy walk away, he called out after him, "Wait! You might not know who I am, but I am—" Yugon cut him off without even bothering to look back. "Not interested. Goodbye." For such a talented person to be rejected like that, it momentarily made Hagen's face darken with frustration. He was speechless. This bastard! The spot where he stood was already dented with a small hole cracking the ground. Perhaps this was Hagen's wrath. A roar echoed through the deep forest. "You! Get back here!" A while later, everyone was busy fighting monsters. Hagen was single-handedly taking on the huge beasts without any fear. His attacks were also very decisive. In just a moment, he had killed the large monsters, their corpses lying scattered on the ground. But Hagen was still a bit tired. He couldn't help but feel terrified inside. How is that bastard so fast? It doesn't look like he's using a skill to boost his speed. In that case, just how high are his stats? Could he also be a pureblood? There must be a few fast ones around. Is he from Alfredo? Or maybe a martial arts master from the martial world? Or could he be a descendant of the god Hemet? A pile of thoughts and questions about the boy now appeared in Hagen's mind. He suddenly felt excited. I thought this would be boring, but it looks like things are getting interesting. Meanwhile, on this side, Eugene was rushing forward. It seemed he had run quite a distance. He stopped and looked back. Did I shake him off? That guy is really fast. Though I'm pretty sure his specialty isn't speed, but pure power derived from electricity. After thinking for a moment, Eugene quickly and lightly jumped down from a tree. He remembered the words, "The balance of this tutorial has been completely overturned." So Eugene guessed, the administrator probably didn't say that just because of me. Anyway, it's not my problem. As he mused, he arrived at a large store. Some time passed. Inside the cave, blood was splattered everywhere. A notification bar appeared. You have defeated a Norn. The completion of the Star of Annihilation has increased by 0.001%. For every monster defeated, Eugene gained another 0.001%. The number was a bit meager. He didn't know where they were coming from, but Eugene just kept killing one after another. The system panel showed that his Star of Annihilation level had reached rank A+. Completion, 0.01%. He looked at the pile of monster corpses, silently disappointed. Killing a whole 10 Norns only raised the completion by 0.01%. To level it up properly, I'll probably have to kill stronger monsters. But my purpose here isn't to hunt, he thought while sprinkling an odorless powder all around. Eugene thought, my body's recovery is more than enough. The frost effects inside my body have also disappeared. I'm ready. He quickly opened the system and tapped on the screen in midair. He took out the giant's heart. A familiar voice rang out, "Listen carefully, Kim Yugon." The giant's heart must be absorbed before the tutorial ends. At the same time, he quickly brought the heart to his stomach and took a huge, ferocious bite. He felt as if his heart and blood vessels were undergoing a massive change right after eating it. The system quickly announced, "You have absorbed the fresh blood of a demon and a giant. The giant's blood is beginning to course through you. The demon's blood is beginning to course through you." Yugon felt his chest being crushed, an excruciating pain. At that moment, a struggle between the demon's blood and the giant's blood began inside his body. Yugon gasped for air, his breathing becoming difficult. He felt a heat that seemed to be burning his internal organs. He gritted his teeth and endured the fire emanating from within him. The astrological heat cell couldn't block it. Meanwhile, the fiery golden eyes were resisting the giant's fire. Unable to bear it, he collapsed to the ground. It felt as if his bones and muscles were twisting together, and his blood was flowing in reverse. At this point, the fiery golden eyes had failed to resist the giant's fire. His mind was in a constant struggle. There's no easier way to overcome this pain. The only way is to overcome it with willpower. I have to endure and take in as much power as I can. The great sage, heaven's equal, was speechless. The giant's blood is something to be anointed with, not put in your mouth. Eating it during the tutorial is practically suicide. So, no matter what, you have to have the fiery golden eyes in case something goes wrong. If you can't get it, then give up your heart. You only get one chance. By now, his strength and stamina had increased. The more Yugon forced himself to endure the pain, the higher those two stats rose over time. Veins were popping on his face and forehead from the agony. Yugon wondered how much time had passed. Based on his calculations, it was probably about time for it to appear. At that moment, a notification window displayed, "Fiery golden eyes and Giant's fire are conflicting. You can now control Giant's fire through fiery golden eyes. Because you have met the hidden conditions, you have acquired Great Heat Fire." Yugon, drenched in sweat, gritted his teeth. What the hell is Great Heat Fire? The skill I want won't show up. He tried to crawl to his feet, but his body couldn't take it and he collapsed. Yugon felt like he was going crazy. Time passed until it was night, the sky as clear as a summer lake. The timer on the system window was slowly ticking away. Yugon's whole body felt like it was on fire as he lay motionless on the ground. He no longer had any strength left to sit up. His entire body trembled in pain. In despair, Yugon looked up. Half a day had already passed. His vision started to blur from the pain. Was I wrong? To be fair, that skill could only be obtained by killing 10,000 giants and bathing in their blood. There was no way it would be that easy to get. Yugon clenched his fists. Should I just be satisfied with this? Suddenly, another notification popped up, startling him. You have met the hidden conditions. It seemed there was a glimmer of hope. Yugon tried to move, and the notification window appeared again. You have completely absorbed the fresh blood of demons and giants. You have successfully absorbed the giant's heart. It seemed his endurance had also reached its limit. Yugon's eyes slowly closed. He was satisfied. I did it. And just like that, Yugon passed out. He didn't know that he had also acquired gigantification right after that. When Yugon woke up, he looked at the timer in the notification window, bewildered. I was out for half a day? I can't believe I passed out twice during the tutorial. I need to hurry up. The fastest record for clearing the final tutorial is 1 week. I've already wasted a bit of time here. The one who set that record was the greatest magic warrior, the leader of the great Asgard clan, Odin. As soon as Yugon came to, he checked the system and made a silent resolve. I won't lose to him. He looked at the ranking board. Just as I thought, Hagen is at the top. That guy is way ahead of the others. Elidor and Paladinte are the Ran sisters from the world of Pantomium, a place where magic and swordsmanship are incredibly advanced. If I remember correctly, they participated in the tutorials of 2 worlds, maybe even more. Is Zhongji a pureblood? I've never heard this name or of this person. Based on his name, he's probably from the same world as me, but I've never heard of him. Maybe the people I don't know never made it into the tower and died here. Forget it. No matter how much I think about it now, nothing will change. I've wasted too much time. Let's check my status and get going. Thanks to absorbing the giant's heart, my constitution has increased a bit too much. I have to be more careful and keep my stats balanced, and as he thought this, information appeared. Great fire calamity. A fire seed is born with a flame inside. The small flame within will not be extinguished even after death, persisting for a long time and for future generations. The skill's power will increase along with its proficiency and arcane power. Yugon calculated, the level isn't high, but I guess it's usable. I need a skill that affects a certain area. With that thought, he didn't linger. When Yugon stepped out of the cave, it was already morning. He quickly tried out the new skill as soon as his mind was clear. The Observer's Eye skill was quickly put to use by its new owner. In his eyes, an image appeared like a small television. Yugon could see a great distance from where he stood. This place was completely deserted. At a spot not too far away, Yugon saw a group of monsters living there. He quickly headed toward them. As soon as they saw him, they started shouting, "A human! It's a person! Pray!" Yugon raised his hand, thinking to himself, orcs, not bad for testing out the great fire calamity. Soon after, the orcs were surrounded by a ferocious blaze. They panicked and scrambled. Hot! Fire! That human! It's that human's fault! Yugon aggressively charged at them with a sharp sword. Being scorched by the hot flames and attacked head-on at the same time, the orcs panicked like a flock of ducks. Like a god of war, Yugon charged in alone and took them all down. As he fought, he glanced at the timer. Only 6 days left. He silently resolved, I will complete this tutorial faster than Odin. Meanwhile, Hagen was also looking at the ranking board. This name? It's him. I don't know what his name is, but it's definitely him. Hagen let out a cunning smile. How interesting. I thought he was just some guy with fast feet since he's never stood out before. But he's climbed this high so quickly. Just then, a young man walked up. What's got you so happy? Hagen didn't hide it. There's someone I want to recruit to my team no matter what. The young man smiled brightly. You mean Kim Yugwon? This person was Lee Sang-hyun, a participant from the Earth Circuit. His talent for controlling mana was outstanding. Hagen was surprised. You know him? Sang-hyun said. He probably has the same nationality as me. I don't know him, though. I'm just guessing from the name. But it really stands out on that ranking board. Sang-hyun guessed, at this rate, he'll probably take your spot. Let's see how the scores look. Hagen made an excuse. That's only because I've been busy gathering you guys. Hagen figured he'd assembled a pretty strong team, but there was still one empty spot. His name is Kim Yugwon, isn't it? Right after, Hagen was filled with confidence. Now let the real hunt begin. The scene changes. One of them speaks up. Mister, is that it? I found it. This person is Paladinte, a half-elf, half-dark elf participant from Pantomium. Hagen grumbled, "I told you I'm not a mister, you little punk." Saying that, he approached them. "Anyway, good job. Let's see." Hagen warned everyone, "Step back if you don't want to get electrocuted." He then quickly channeled his energy. Hagen's entire body was enveloped in a massive electrical current. He immediately launched a ferocious strike forward. The earth and rocks were quickly blown apart by the force. Sang-Yun was stunned. "This is the place I searched for all day long?" Hagen spoke up. "Without Paladinte, it would have taken us a few more days to find it. You know? Anyway, let's head in." As soon as they were inside, one of them gasped in awe. "This place is pretty big. It's like a cave." Paladinte, however, was cautious. "Let's scan the area before we act." Seeing Hagen's expression upon entering, Paladinte asked with concern, "What is it, mister?" He thought to himself, "Something strange. The dungeon found notification should have popped up by now. But why hasn't it appeared yet?" Hagen wondered as he stepped further in. "Did someone else already find this place?" Sang-Yun shouted in alarm. "Captain, check the ranking board!" Hagen wondered why he would say that, but he quickly did as he was told. The amazing thing was that in just a short amount of time, Yugwan had shot up to first place while he had fallen behind. Seeing his name had dropped, Hagen was dumbfounded. The name Kim Yugwan and the #1 spot haunted him. It echoed endlessly in his mind. Immediately after, a furious rage erupted from Hagen. He took his anger out on the monsters. The giant worms were sliced apart by Hagen's powerful electrical current. The girl standing by, seeing Hagen's wrath, commented, "Looks like he's quite a handful." Sung-Hyun replied, "I'm not so sure about that. To me, he's not a handful at all. He's actually pretty motivating." She asked, "Do you think of him as an enemy?" Sung-Hyun suddenly blushed, embarrassed. I guess so." A voice came from behind. "But if this keeps up, we won't be able to get any proper hunting done. He's taking out all the monsters by himself." Sang-Hyun decided to split the team in two. Janchi silently showed his approval. Hagen spoke up. "Perfect timing. We're at a fork in the road. Elidor and Paladinte can each lead a team down one path, and stay in contact with each other. Janchi, Sung-Hyun, Elado, Filei, and Typhon, you all take the right path. With Janchi there, you'll be fine." Janchi quickly drew his twin swords and said, "Understood." Then, they quickly said their goodbyes. "All right, see you all later." Immediately after, Sung-Hyun used his skill, Monosphere. He struck the monsters. His energy was quite powerful. A single attack sent the monsters flying. Janchi, not to be outdone, leaped forward and attacked the monsters head-on. A single light swing of his sword sliced through them in droves. Very quickly, Hagen's party had wiped out all the monsters there. The dark-skinned man behind them said tiredly, "Hunting for hours without a break is exhausting." Sung-Hyun replied, "I feel the same way." He thought to himself, "I can probably only use Monosphere about 2 more times. I should conserve my mana for now, but what is that door? It's huge." One of them spoke up. "I'm not sure. Maybe it's something like a boss room?" Elidor asked. "A boss room?" Sang-Yeon explained. "Like in a video game. In the world I used to live in, I've experienced places similar to this. And usually there's a boss behind a door like that." Janchi warned, "Don't let your guard down just because the hunt is over. The moment you lose focus and relax is when you're closest to death." Sung-Hyun smiled brightly and said over and over, "Yes, yes." Then he raised his hand to check the ranking board. For some reason, the color drained from his face, and his expression turned to one of momentary shock. Seeing his reaction, Janji stepped forward and asked, "What is it?" Sung-Hyun stammered. "The ranking board." Suddenly, a violent tremor shook the ground, making it hard for anyone to stand. Everyone muttered anxiously, "What's going on?" "I think it's coming from behind the door," Janchi yelled. "Everyone stay alert. Sang-Yeon, get back to your position at the rear." She speculated, "This tremor, and him having the top contribution score, I'm sure they're related somehow." The door began to open, and Janchi remained vigilant. "Don't tell me he's in there." Inside the room, blood was splattered everywhere. What looked like monster limbs were strewn across the floor. As soon as they stepped inside, a system notification appeared. Boss subjugation complete. The moment Sang-Yun saw the person in front of him, he recognized him instantly. He remembered the person who had overtaken them on the leaderboard. At the top of the rankings is Kim Eugene with an overwhelming score of 10149B. He sat there. His gloomy eyes stared towards Sung-Yun's group. Next to him lay the monster's corpse. The boss raid was complete. His eyes still held a fierce, murderous intent that hadn't faded. He recalled how just a moment ago he had defeated the boss in this room all by himself. It was like a giant worm crawling around him. Its hard, spiky scales could have seriously injured him if he hadn't dodged in time. Eugene couldn't help but think, stubborn bastard. Right after he leveled up, dexterity and arcane power each increased by 1. He thought, I've tried every skill in my arsenal, and I killed it with my current combat abilities. So this is good enough. But I should pay more attention to my physical stats before using Titan Eyes. It's still a bit difficult for me to use. Right after that, he received 3,000 points for clearing the boss room. Completion progress for star-killing chi increased by 1%. Eugene thought to himself, the completion progress for star-killing chi is so slow. At least I still got a whole 1% for defeating the boss. It seems like just killing a mountain of monsters isn't the answer. Maybe I should focus on killing higher-level monsters, or bosses. Since there's no way to determine how much each skill will affect it, I have to increase the completion progress even more. Back in the present, Eugene coldly looked at Sung-hyun's group and said loudly, "You guys are a little late for this." It just died. Elato, uncertain, was the one next to him who cut in. "No way! You killed all these monsters by yourself?" Sang-hyun was horrified. Even as the team leader, considered the strongest in this training session, could he clear a boss room alone? Those marks. How can a participant who grew up in the same world and went through the same training as me have skills this powerful? He's a brutal monster. No wonder the captain wants him so badly. Sung-hyun spoke politely. "You're Kim Yugwon, right? Do you have any teammates around?" Yugwon replied casually. "As you can see, I'm alone." An alarm went off in Sung-hyun's mind. "I'm sure of it. We need you on our team." No, he's a dangerous person. If we're not on the same team as him... As this thought crossed Sang-hyun's mind, he quickly spoke up. "In that case, would you like to join our team?" Eugene looked at Sang-hyun, silently sizing him up. A Korean. He's Lee Sang-hyun. After a moment's thought, his gaze became deep and unreadable as he observed their group. "Based on the fact that Elato is here, this must be Hagen's team. They've split up to hunt and raise their meager scores. I don't recognize that other face. Is she Janchi? She's ranked right behind Hagen. Considering she made it this far, she must be a big shot in this training session. That guy chose his teammates well. This team has a bright future. However, seeing him remain silent, Sung-hyun spoke up, but Eugene's answer was the same as before. Eugene replied coldly, "I'll have to say no." Sung-hyun was disappointed. "I knew it. The captain was rejected too." Janchi spoke up. "So you're planning to take on the boss Baraganda by yourself? We have 1 month for this training session, and the boss is designed to be defeated by multiple people combining their strength." Eugene retorted, "So what?" Janchi continued to persuade him. "The focus of the final training is teamwork. It's a matter of how much you can develop within the given time, how many teammates you can gather, and how well you work with them." It seemed like she was making a lot of sense. Eugene listened silently without saying a word. He then asked bluntly, "So what is it that you people want?" Elato whispered, "I already contacted the captain. When I told him we found Eugene, he said he'd be right here." Sang-hyun was stunned. This is probably going to get messy. At that moment, a flash of light shot in from the doorway. Hagen shouted joyfully, "Kim Yugwon! I finally found you!" Before he could finish his sentence, Yugwon aggressively shoved him away. This action momentarily startled everyone there. He asked coldly, "So, do you all want to survive? Or..." He paused, then continued, "Do you want to become rankers?" Janchi was shocked. Why would someone who isn't a pureblood of the tower know what a ranker is? To put it simply, a ranker is a being who has completed all the tests in the tower and cleared all its floors. A being that possesses power and aura and immortality. Yugwon answered seriously, "I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in that." He thought, "In the end, I have to become a ranker. But that's just part of the process." For Janchi to get so angry, for someone not chosen by the tower, becoming a ranker is nothing more than a pipe dream. The king who leads his clan is a respectable exploiter. Thinking this, she contemptuously thought, "What makes you so different? If not an exploiter, are you saying you'll become a high-level exploiter?" Eugene listened silently until she finished, then spoke coldly. "No, even higher than that. I'm going to smash the very top of the tower." Eugene thought of his final destination. It wasn't something like the top of the tower. Hearing him say this, everyone's face darkened. Janchi couldn't help but retort, "That's absurd! Hagen suddenly jumped up and shouted. Kim Yugon paused for a moment, then he wailed like a child. What do you think you're doing, huh? That hurt. Yugon answered calmly. You charged at me with that much force. I thought you were trying to kill me. Hagen fumed. I was just trying to catch you. Yugon continued to argue. If someone as strong as you rushes at me, of course I'm going to be scared. Hearing this, suddenly his anger quickly vanished. Hagen said in a small voice, Oh, really? Well, I'm sorry then. Sang Yun was speechless with him. Is that all it takes? Hagen continued. You said you'd smash the top of the tower. Interesting. That's a great plan. I once heard my father say that there's an even greater power outside the tower. You wouldn't know who he is, but he's an incredibly important person. Eugene didn't bother to expose him, only thinking, how could I not know Zeus, the king of Olympus? Hagen went on, Eugene, I heard you once again refuse the invitation to join our team. I guess you're trying to say that a sardine can't compare to a whale. But don't think of me as some lowly sardine, because one day I will become the king of Olympus. Hearing him say this, all the members of the group were momentarily stunned. Captain, this is, Eugene thought cheerfully, a declaration from a direct descendant of Olympus. At least he's aiming high. Seeing his silence, Hagen continued, If you don't believe me, I'll prove it. Let's make a bet. Let's see who can defeat the boss first and get more shares. You're free to form your own team. I don't care how many people you have. But I can promise you that my team will have no more than 9 people. Eugene remained silent. What a good proposal. I could form a team with dozens, even hundreds of people, but they'll just stick to their team of 9. Hagen continued, Of course, if I win, you have to join our team. Eugene then asked, And if I win? Hagen said frankly, I'll work for you in Hyomen's name. Hearing this, Eugene found it a little interesting. He gave a satisfied smile. For real? He rested his chin on his hand. You can set the Hyomen matter aside. I don't need a brother like you. He thought, the future has to change anyway? Hagen could be a pretty useful card to play in that event. Eugene stood up and continued, Instead, if I win, help me just once when I need it. Hagen was surprised. Just once? Are you sure? Hagen said excitedly. Since that request isn't too unreasonable, I'll accept. If you want, I can even give you my items. Eugene wasn't interested. We can discuss that when we're done. Hagen slammed his fists together. All right, it's a bet then. I'll see you on the first floor. Don't pretend you don't know me then. Eugene's face darkened. I feel it every time I see him, but he's just too energetic. However, I guess that is how he managed to clear the training in just 9 days. Hagen was now brimming with energy. Everyone heard that. Right, we're going to be busy, let's go! Eugene spoke up. I don't want to rain on your parade, but there's no need to be in such a hurry. He pointed to the timer and said, I'll stop time for a moment. On the system, the time suddenly froze and stopped running. Hagen was stunned. What happened to it? Why did the clock stop? Eugene reminded him. Baraganda isn't an island. It's a mythical beast. Hagen wondered, then these things are... Eugene continued. They're parasites. They cling to the giant beast and suck away its power. But they're the reason Baraganda is sinking. If the seawater floods in, the parasites won't survive either. Hagen asked, So is that the overlord of the parasites or something? Eugene explained. Something like that. It's the beast itself, more than just a parasite. He became a little wary, thinking, should I believe what he's saying? He even knows things that Olympus doesn't know. But I have no idea who he is. Thinking this, Hagen replied mechanically. Well, he continued, the remaining time will stop counting down until the system returns to its original state. When a manager or their subordinate intervenes, Eugene remembered Odin telling him a secret about Baraganda. The 5th training round is a battle against time. The time remaining after defeating the boss is the key. Back then, Odin had asked, how do I kill it in a week? It hasn't actually been a week. I stopped time. Yuan calculated, I have to make the most of this time. Once I'm stronger and time starts moving again, the training will be over. 2 people from Hagen and his team were surprised. Wait, is it bugged? I'm not the only one who saw it stop, right? Is it going to drop all at once after this? Damn it, maybe it'll start counting down again soon. What are you guys doing? Hurry up and rack up points while we still have time. Let's go! Meanwhile, the subordinates are in an uproar. The parasitic dragons were killed? This is the first time since Odin. What about the manager? Does he know there's an error in the training session? He's arguing with Olympus. He's busy with that. Someone contact the manager, quick! It's not easy to find a parasitic dragon. The scene shifts back to a desolate forest where the ground is cracking from a powerful tremor. It caused a flock of birds to scatter in fear. The huge monster had a sword stuck in its head, fresh blood flowing endlessly, but it just stood there, dazed. Yu leaped onto it alone, then struck down fiercely. More importantly, they weren't the only ones. Seeing their leader fall, the two remaining ones were startled. That group, they killed the leader. Before they could even regain their senses, his sword had already fiercely pierced through one of them. It screamed, "Monster! He's a monster!" His eyes were bloodshot, his face twisted with ferocity. "Who are you calling a monster?" The terrified monsters screamed to each other. "Danger! Run!" Yugon was momentarily stunned and speechless. He looked up at the timer. It had started counting down again. Looks like the subordinates fixed it. Just as I thought, the parasitic dragon was no help at all. You can't step in the same river twice. In any case, I bought myself 4 days. That's more than I thought. He looked at the sky and thought silently, "Should I go to the Tower of the Gods? It's a place on a high mountaintop on the other side." Very quickly, a loud explosion also occurred on the mountaintop. The tremor caused the surrounding ground to collapse into a huge hole. Sung-hyun was monitoring the process. Everyone's starting to gather. Elato said they can only get good scores by defeating the leader of the pack. That's why all the capable players are trying to join in. He stammered, well, based on their mana, I think most of them are over level 20. John Chai said calmly, "That's fine. They used every means to get here. They'd have to be at least that level if they want to enter the tower." Sung-hyun wondered, "Don't tell me all players know how to use mana?" John Chai spoke up, "Only the players who aren't residents of the tower." He was surprised. "Residents?" John Chi explained, "People born and raised in the tower, like me or the leader. If they're chosen by the tower, they're blessed by the system and become purebloods." Hearing this, Sang-hyun quickly understood. He felt a little worried. "So, do you think we can defeat the leader?" John Chai said, "I don't know. I don't think there's a way." At the same time, Hagen quickly slid down near everyone. John Chai looked at him and then continued, "But I can't predict just how strong our leader is." Right after that, she spoke to Hagen. "You're late. We wanted to make the most of our time, you know." San Jian looked around. "Is Kim Yugon not here?" Elato said, "He is here." Wearing a striking red cloak, he slowly approached the group. He silently calculated, "Let's see. It looks like he's planning to take on these monsters all by himself." Yugon calculated, "Elidor and Lee Sang-gun. The mana flowing through them is completely different from before. They must have leveled up quite a bit." Then he looked over at Hagen, and this bastard. As soon as he saw him, he exclaimed with delight, "Kim Yugon, there you are. Where's your team? Are you planning to fight the leader alone again?" Yugon answered honestly, "That's right. My score will be higher if I do." Hagen sighed in frustration. "Everyone says I'm crazy. But you're even worse than me." He calculated, "He's 7,000 points ahead of me. I'll kill the leader before he and his team can." At the same time, someone stepped forward and greeted him. "You're Kim Yugon, right? Looks like you don't have a team, huh? But we're all on our way to fight the leader. If you don't have a team, then—" Before he could finish his sentence, Hagen angrily sent a current of electricity through him, glaring aggressively at the man as if someone had just tried to steal his lover. "You— insects!" Everyone screamed in fear and scattered. Hagen and his team were secretly thrilled. "Good. I think all I have to do is stand still." Hagen looked at him smugly. "I did a good job, huh? What? Are you leaving already?" Without turning back, Eugene replied, "Time is of the essence in this training round." Hagen laughed heartily. "It's supposed to last a month and you're clearing it in less than 5 days. You're really amazing." Hagen shouted, "Hey, Eugene, let's go together!" Suddenly, he stopped right at the edge of a cliff. Immediately after, Eugene leaped straight down. As soon as he landed, the system announced, "You have entered the first boss room." Inside, there were countless monsters. A mission appeared. Complete the quest to find the first boss. Rows of sharp, menacing spears stood tall, waiting for an opponent to advance. They quickly formed a solid barrier with their shields, facing the small group. There were hordes of them, standing imposingly and blocking the path. 2 members of Hagen's group couldn't help but sweat. "What is all this? There are so many of them." Eugene thought, "So there are several waves we need to clear before meeting the boss, huh? It looks like all the monsters have gathered here to fight. It might seem impossible, but you guys can handle them." He quickly drew his sword, calculating. "I know where the boss is now. I have to be quick." A notification panel appeared. Skill, Great Calamity Fire, and Magic Sword have been combined. The other two exchanged a look. Are we finally going to see him fight? He's that monster, ranked even higher than the leader. We'll see if his rank is that high, or if he's really that strong. Hagen stood behind them, observing him in silence. He was eagerly anticipating the fight, shouting in his mind, "That's right! Show me what you've got, Kim Eugene!" Eugene shot forward in a blur. People couldn't even follow his movements. One of them stared blankly. He's vanished. Where did he go? Sang-hyun stammered. Over there. From the direction he had moved, a massive, ferocious flame engulfed the entire area. Sang-hyun's jaw dropped in astonishment. What in the world? He broke through the encirclement of giant monsters all by himself. They couldn't even get close to him. Eugene was as fierce as a demon from hell, driving his blade straight down into the red monster. Everyone was stunned. He's a monster, stronger than the leader. Realizing he'd misspoken, Sang-hyun glanced at Hagen, whose face had darkened with a murderous aura. Startled, he quickly clamped his mouth shut. Hagen was exhilarated. Just as I expected. I can't lose to him, right? He then shouted, "Wait for me, Kim Eugene!" The monster's spears closed in around Hagen, but he didn't falter in the slightest. On the contrary, Hagen seemed even more motivated. He leaped up, running on top of their spears. Suddenly, from behind, Hagen sensed a killing intent approaching. A flash of yellow light shot out. Eugene had arrived just in time to back him up. The two of them coordinated perfectly without a word. The others stood back, not daring to charge in. Sang-hyun spoke up. We shouldn't just be standing around watching, should we? But there's nothing for us to do. Janchi spoke up. There are still traps around. Don't let your guard down. Paladinte and Elidor also rushed forward to kill monsters. Paladinte shouted to Sang-hyun, "You open a path, and we'll cover you from behind." He quickly used the skill Monosphere. As he attacked, he didn't forget to warn his comrades, "Watch out, everyone!" At the same time, Eugene glided across the ground with his sword, thinking, at least they're strong enough not to get in the way. It seems they won't die from what's coming up ahead. They're pretty reliable. A voice rang out. Hey, Eugene, I think there's something over there. Over here. Hagen quickly ran over to check the situation. He stood there, staring up at the wall in a daze, and couldn't help but mutter, a strange drawing. It was covered in incomprehensible patterns from an ancient era. Everyone began to murmur. Is that a war? Looks like it. Eugene thought to himself, this is the first time I've seen it in person, too. He reached out and touched the wall, sensing it. It's behind this door. Seeing him about to act alone, Hagen yelled, Hey, are you trying to sneak in again without saying a word? Eugene replied nonchalantly, I was planning to go in by myself from the start anyway. He retorted in frustration, That's not the point! We're on the same team, aren't we? Would it kill you to wait a second? Suddenly, a tragic sound echoed out, making the surrounding space incredibly gloomy. Sang-hyun trembled. What? Is that the boss? Another person added. Its cry alone is enough to paralyze me. What kind of creature is it? Hagen thought warily. I already have information on the boss. But it really is a terrifying beast. With that, he quickly said, All right, let's go. Inside the gate, there was no movement at first. The boss still hadn't appeared. Hagen began to gather power in his hands. Everyone get back! The group panicked when they saw a dragon in shackles. Bound by chains, it was struggling relentlessly. It glared fiercely at those who had disturbed it. A system message appeared. You have entered the third boss's chamber. It was trapped behind iron bars, but it was still incredibly aggressive. The quest quickly appeared. Defeat the imprisoned boss, Chimera. Once the objective is complete, the training will end. Hagen stepped forward, wondering, Is that the final boss of this training? Eugene thought for a long moment about his question, then said, The final boss, you say? The system guide stated, Only one person can break the Chimera's chains and tame it. If you break the crystal sealing orb, the time limit will end, and you can clear the training round regardless of its conditions. The Chimera's master will earn bonus points based on the number of participants they kill. Sung-hyun exclaimed in surprise, The Chimera's master? Elidor was also puzzled. So we have to hunt the Chimera while at the same time protect the crystal sealing orb from our own allies? Janchi spoke up. There are 10 of us here. It won't be hard to keep an eye on everyone. With this many people, it shouldn't be too hard, right? She thought, even if someone tries to pull a fast one, the leader is here. Besides, no one is faster than the leader. While everyone was hesitating in silence, Eugene stepped forward alone. Startled, Hagen blocked his path. What do you think you're doing? Eugene replied coldly. Let me go. You can't betray us, not after we've come all this way together. Right? Hagen said, exasperated. Have you forgotten our bet? You're supposed to hunt the boss with everyone and finish the training together, not go off on your own. With a cold expression, Eugene answered, I'm going to win that bet. And I'll be the only one to clear this training round. Hearing that, Hagen became furious. What did you just say? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Eugene added, This is why I wanted to do it alone. Without another moment's hesitation, he drew his sword from the system, and a loud explosion suddenly erupted. The ground where he stood exploded into a spray of rock and debris. Needless to say, Hagen was furious. He roared, Kim Yugon! A system message announced, The crystal sealing orb has been destroyed. The boss, Chimera, will be released from its chains. The Chimera's master is Kim Yugwan. The dragon was quickly unchained, and the barrier imprisoning it began to fade away. The monster's eyes glowed with a ferocious light. Another notification appeared. Defeat the unleashed Chimera. It was an enormous three-headed dragon. The moment it was freed, its power sent non-stop shockwaves through the area. Hagen was seething with rage. He gritted his teeth, glaring at Yugon. You bastard! How dare you! Eugene said nothing, simply calling out, Chimera! Hearing its master's voice, the great dragon drew near, awaiting its command. He pointed to the far wall and commanded it, Destroy this wall. As soon as the command was given, the dragon violently smashed the wall with its feet in the blink of an eye. Yuan and Hagen stood silently, watching the entire thing unfold. The shockwaves from the impact forced everyone to stumble back a few steps. Needless to say, they all grew pale at the incredible power this three-headed dragon possessed. Yugo looked at them. I'm controlling the Chimera. It won't attack you. From now on, I have to face a different enemy. Hearing this, Hagen asked blankly, What? He continued, The Chimera is a monster created by combining countless other monsters from this island. So, who do you think created it? Seeing the dragon's color change from blue to purple, Hagen was stunned. If the Chimera isn't the real boss, then what is? Eugene continued, Whether you fight with me or not, you need to make the decision. As soon as he finished speaking, he and his dragon moved ahead, leading the way toward the cave entrance. Sung-hyun stepped forward, bewildered. What should we do? Leader! Hagen gritted his teeth. We'll check it out first. And so, his group followed him into the cave. As they ventured a little deeper inside, all around them were grotesque corpses. Everyone was terrified. What is all this? Are those people? Hagen thought warily. I didn't expect the path to be this long. What the hell is this place? Yuan thought to himself, there were no messages about a fourth chamber in the fifth training round. He was certain this was where he was hiding. A system announcement rang out. You have entered the fourth boss's chamber. Eugene let out a surprised, Oh! The notification stated that the boss had been upgraded. Eugene stepped forward. Were you sleeping in there? Over there, a gaunt hand is ceaselessly sewing dragon hides, and that man is none other than the Chimera creator. The moment your dragon saw him, it became more aggressive. He spoke up. This isn't the first time. The creator of the dragons steps forward himself, even though he can control a chimera. But you didn't betray them. Instead, you came right to my room. He flashed a cunning smile in your direction. How interesting. And that guy over there? You look like you're a descendant of Roth. Maybe you're just a half-breed, huh? But either way, you have your uses. Hearing this, Hagen's anger flared. He impulsively stepped forward and cursed. Who are you calling a half-breed, huh? Who the hell is this bastard? Yuan spoke up to explain. That's the mage, Chider. He's a ranker who disappeared from the tower a long time ago. Hagen quickly realized. Cheater, the ranker who used to be the administrator for the 50th floor? He thought to himself, I've heard a lot about him. He used thousands of participants as test subjects to create chimeras by combining countless monsters. Why is someone like him in the tutorial round? Yuan spoke up. Don't be so surprised. In the end, he lost to a player in a humiliating fashion, and because he broke the tower's rules, he lost almost all of his power. That's why he was forced to become a boss in the tutorial round for 1,000 years, and 1,000 years have already passed. He won't be getting his power back either. Hearing this, Chater asked in surprise, How do you know about me? Yuan pointed at his own face and asked the man, You remember this, don't you? His face was filled with provocation as his red eyes, like those of the great sage, Heaven's equal, reappeared. He didn't understand what Yuan was talking about, but he just roared in anger. "You scoundrel!" Hagen was startled. "What kind of mana is that? I thought you said he lost his power." Yuan explained, "This is him even without his full power. If he still had his power as a ranker, we would have been killed in one shot." Chider was still shouting, "Where did you get those eyes? You bastard, are you a relative of that monkey?" He nonchalantly challenged back, "Why are you so angry? You're the one who imprisoned and experimented on participants even though you were an administrator." He was practically insane. "Answer my question now." Of course, Yuan wouldn't tell him. "Sorry, but I didn't come here to satisfy your curiosity. I came because I can't stand the fact that a scoundrel like you is still alive." He yelled in frustration. "What the hell is this?" Hagen continued. "I don't know what that's about, but we just need to take care of these things. Right?" Leader Hagen glared aggressively and said to everyone, "Wipe them out." Immediately after Hagen gave the order, his troops quickly advanced to fight the horde of corpses. Although they were just corpses, patched-together bodies, their strength was terrifying. Everyone had to fight with all their might and with great difficulty. With this troublesome bunch, Yuan calculated, "These things, they are chimeras that can level up. They're supposed to start appearing in the tower about a year from now. It seems like there are still a lot of them, but this is..." It seems his experiment isn't even complete yet. Thanks to the combat ability of Hagen's team, things are much easier for me. But suddenly, while he was thinking, there was a murderous aura rushing right at him, making Yuan raise his guard. It was an ancient purple coffin made of stone. The system displayed, "Skill, Dark Coffin." He gave a cunning laugh. "This coffin is unbreakable. Even a chimera can't escape it once it's been caught inside. Even though I failed and lost my power, how dare some lowly tutorial participants look down on me?" He continued. "I was planning on turning you into a chimera too, so..." But before he could finish his sentence, a strange noise suddenly rang out from inside the coffin. Cracks gradually appeared. In just a moment, the coffin was covered in more and more cracks. Yuan rushed forward aggressively and smashed it to bits with his hand. Shards flew everywhere. He shouted, "What the hell? How?" It's not clear what method he used, but right now, his arm suddenly became incredibly large. He gritted his teeth in alarm. "Wait, that arm! It can't be! Impossible! Right now, your face looks just like my old enemy. That furious man, you bastard! What is your relationship with Olympus, huh?" Olympus was the key player in the Gigantomachy, the battle against the giant race, son of the hero of the 12 labors, and the holder of the title Giant Slayer. A person who did not hesitate to punish monsters and was incredibly merciful to the weak. A person with greater power than anyone else and the most revered hero. You have used the skill Giantification. A system window appeared. Your arm has integrated the power of a giant. Proficiency is low. Stamina stat will temporarily change. Stamina stat is too low. The Giantification dispersal process will begin. Yuan gritted his teeth and thought, "Damn it. Even after eating the heart of the giant and increasing both my strength and stamina. But is this my weakness? Anyway, this is enough." Chi was annoyed. "Fine. I'll hear your answer after I smash you to pieces. Even if you are a descendant of Olympus, you're still just a tiny little brat." Yuan seemed to have gotten truly angry. He said in a cold voice, "Silence." As soon as he finished speaking, the rocks and dirt around them quickly flew up with Yugon's rage. The system announced again, "Skill, Triple Dark Coffin." And this time, he aggressively shattered that coffin with his bare hands. Chi also struck back. "Not bad. You're still not dead. There are still many things I want to hear from you." He used the skill Dark Venom, shooting it towards Yugon. He recalled a conversation between two people. "What I want is Giantification. If I can't control it properly, I'll have to give up on defeating the creator of the Chimeras, even though he has lost his power and been exiled. To the training floor, he's still very dangerous. The plan is too hasty, Hey-In. Do you think you can master Giantification in just a few days? It's not that easy. But it's not certainly impossible." Thinking of this, he channeled his energy and slashed violently toward the cloud of poison. Everything quickly vanished into thin air as if it had never existed. Yuan breathed a sigh of relief. Che was so surprised he stammered, How is this possible? Even if he is a descendant of Hercules, how could he destroy all of that with just that strength stat? Not letting him have the advantage for long, he quickly swung the staff in his hands. Skill, Wall of Dark Thorns, was used. Towering walls of thorns appeared majestically. Che seemed very pleased. "My ultimate defensive skill. Let's see how you try to break it. Before you can break it, Your hand will... Before he could finish his sentence, a strange sound echoed. He didn't think his trump card would be turned over so quickly. His jaw dropped as he screamed, "What is this foolish idiot doing?" That wall of thorns was struck by a ferocious force, causing a web of cracks to appear. Che was thrown far away, that old skeleton of his. He couldn't help but let out a series of cracking sounds, but after observing for a moment and seeing no major movement, he celebrated internally. Did he stop? I bet he's exhausted. He must have shattered his hand trying to break the wall. She thought so, and his mood instantly became cheerful. But to his surprise, just as he got closer, a hand shot out aggressively and grabbed his neck. It was Yugon. He didn't know how he did it, but at this moment, he was rushing towards him. Yugon launched a kick, sending Che flying and landing flat on his back. Even at this point, it seemed he still hadn't come to his senses. He just gaped in bewilderment. Not giving Che a chance to fight back, Yugon aggressively punched him straight in the face, another blow making his face look like it caved in. A voice rang out again. "All right, let's continue. If he fails while possessing both the Sage's Eye and Giantification, then don't even try to fight him. If you succeed in obtaining one of the two, we will let you decide for yourself. If you succeed in possessing both, you must successfully defeat the creator of the Chimeras." The scene changes to Heian's group. He spoke up. "Hey, Sun Wukong, you got nothing else to say? If I remember correctly, you were the one who defeated the father of the Chimeras while clearing the 50th floor. Sun Wukong added slyly, I don't have much to say. As long as you have these eyes, you can see everything." As he said this, "Damn!" The great sage's face became somewhat serious. The smile on his face also disappeared. Over here, Yugon had beaten Che to a pulp. He lay on the ground, weakly coughing his lungs out, but he still maintained a defiant tone. "No matter how hard you try, you can never kill me. I am immortal." Hearing this, a look of contempt appeared on his face. "You know something?" Pausing for a moment, he continued. "You're as tough as they say. His body has been reinforced by 1,000 years of dark magic experiments to become more durable than steel. Truly an immortal chimera. But with a body patched together from many different parts, having stitch marks is unavoidable." Yugon was completely confident. "As long as I have these eyes, I can see everything." He used the skill Fiery Golden Eyes to see his twisted experiments. Immediately after, Yugon aggressively snapped his arm. Che screamed in pain, "Impossible! My arm, stop! Don't!" Before he could finish, a wave of pain quickly washed over him. Yugon found it strange that he kept telling him to stop. Yugon spoke up and asked, "Why are you asking me to stop? Have you forgotten how many people you've torn to pieces?" And so the scene shifts back to where the real gods are fighting Surtur to obtain the Fiery Golden Eyes and achieve gigantification by absorbing the heart of the giant Yuan. In their eyes, he truly is an extraordinary human about to be born. A notification appeared. "You have achieved an impossible feat. You have defeated the boss, the father of chimeras. For achieving an impossible feat, your reward calculation will be postponed. The tutorial has ended. You have successfully leveled up. Strength and agility have increased by 2. Stamina and agility have also increased by 1. The completion rate of Heaven Annihilating Star has increased by 8.34%. Yugon thought in surprise, "I can't believe I've actually become human." Since he was considered a boss just like Surucha, the rewards for this are probably going to be amazing. I even leveled up twice and got a few stat points from increasing the completion rate for Heaven Annihilating Star. A notification appeared. Heaven Annihilating Star. You bear the power and destiny to destroy the heavens themselves. From now on, your fate will change based on the value of the lives you take. Rank? A+. Completion? 10.3%. Your stats will increase based on the number and the nature of the enemies you kill. All stats increased by 3%. He calculated, so my stats will increase for every 5% of completion. That means by the time it reaches 100%, all my stats will have increased by 20 points. I thought a rank like this wouldn't have any amazing effects, but it's not bad at all. Meanwhile, everyone else was bewildered. What's going on? Why did they all suddenly collapse? Is it over? I doubt they'll just get back up on their own. He quickly went to share the good news with everyone. Don't worry, the boss is dead, so they won't be getting up. The whole group sighed in relief. Is that so, Eugene? To be honest, I really thought I was a goner this time. Elido rushed over worriedly, asking, Is anyone hurt? Someone shouted, Over here! We need help over here! John Chi is injured! Hearing this, Hagen's mood soured. He fell silent, watching his exhausted teammate kneeling on the ground as an indescribable feeling washed over him. Hagen spoke up. "I'll handle the rest. The rest of you, look after John Chai." Everyone quickly followed his order. Seeing that Yugen was about to leave again, Hagen stepped forward to block his path. "I need to talk to you." A serious expression appeared on both of their faces. Hagen got straight to the point. "I won't ask who you are or how you knew about the connection between that rancor and the tutorial, but because of your decision—" He paused for a moment before continuing. "One of my men was severely injured. Did you really have to defeat that creator? You could have passed the tutorial easily just by defeating the Chimera." "Normally that would be the case," Yugen replied. He asked, puzzled. "Normally? You could have set the greatest record of all time without having to do all this. How much further do you plan to go before you're satisfied? Will you only be satisfied when all your comrades are dead?" Hearing that question, he closed his eyes, thinking deeply. He's asking how far I'll go, huh? I wonder how far I have to go. He recalled an old memory. The outer gods. Deities from another world, outside the tower. Beings that should never have been born. Their despair reached the heavens. The gloom that radiated from them was trapped in a swamp of death, along with the foolish chaos they created, and that twilight sky. And that was all just to kill a single one of them. Countless rancors had to sacrifice their lives, but even then, we still didn't know how many of those bastards there truly were. For that very reason, I have to keep getting stronger. I need to purge the rotten parts of this world and make it a stronger place so that it won't have to face extinction. So, to achieve that, how much further do I have to go? With these thoughts in mind, he answered truthfully. "I don't know," Hagen asked again, angered. "You don't know?" "That's right," he replied. "You're looking for a team that can stand shoulder to shoulder with you, aren't you?" "That's precisely why I'm not looking for teammates, because they can't walk the same path as I do." Hagen understood immediately. He thought, so his teammates must be incredibly strong to face any danger with him. Just how thorny is the path you've chosen? At the same time, Yugen spoke. "Give up on the idea of cooperating. If you pull me into your team, who knows when something like this will happen again? And since we're done talking—" He quickly walked past him and spoke to the administrator. "Sorry, have you been waiting long?" "Well, it looked like a serious conversation, so the administrator said sheepishly. Hagen wondered, who is that guy? A homeless person? Yugen introduced him. "This is the tutorial's administrator." This made Hagen extremely surprised. Hagen screamed internally, "Why is a high-class ranker like him here?" Immediately after, he bowed politely. "I am Hagen, from Olympus. It's a pleasure to meet you, Sir Administrator." The administrator just gave a cold grunt. Yugen spoke up. "Don't be like that. You should at least greet him properly. He has nothing to do with that matter." The administrator looked at him, annoyed. "Just thinking about my current workload makes me want to rip that old geezer's beard out. And not only that, just thinking about how I'm going to have to listen to those guys' complaints because of you." He helplessly held his forehead. The contract to create a boss for the tutorial, that father of chimeras, was for 1,000 years. But in the end, he died before I even had time to prepare the next boss. The administrator couldn't help but shoot him a sidelong glance. Thanks to someone, the work for the tutorial section is about to get a whole lot easier. Yuan lost his patience. "Did you just come here to complain? Just give me my reward already." He grumbled as he took out the item. "You're surprisingly impatient. How you use it is entirely up to you. How you protect it is also your decision. This is the sacred dark crystal, a fragment containing the darkness of the origin. It holds magical power with the property of infinite darkness. The fragment has not yet been refined. Only a master artisan can unleash its true power." He stared at the item in his hand for a long time, still bewildered. The sacred dark crystal. It has another name, a fragment of the Helm of Hades, one of the great gods of Olympus. The Helm of Invisibility is one of the pieces of equipment he used, and it is one of the most powerful items in Olympus. The most essential material to create the helm is the sacred dark crystal. Yuan thought to himself, this was also one of the items I had to find after returning to the past. I never expected to get it this early. I also know where the sacred sea crystal is. The only thing left is the fragment of the thunderbolt. Suddenly, noticing Yuan staring at him, Hagen asked, "What is it?" Yuan thought, "I'll probably be able to get it sooner than I expected." The administrator continued, "Satisfied now?" Since you now meet the qualifications, you will be sent to the tower. Everyone else will also be rewarded based on their contribution points. Hagen, your reward won't be bad either." He joyfully said, "Thank you, Administrator." The Administrator looked at Yuan and continued, "This will be our last meeting. Once you're up there, surely, you don't plan on causing as much trouble as you did down here, right?" Yuan said nonchalantly. "I'm not so sure." The Administrator quickly understood his meaning. That doesn't sound much like a no. He surmised, he's probably already obtained that thing. Then you'll just end up causing even more chaos. If you're going to cause trouble anyway, becoming a wave that shakes the entire tower doesn't sound so bad, does it? As soon as he finished speaking, Yuan quickly disappeared. It's unknown whether he heard what the Administrator said or not. A time notification appeared. The clock is still running. The rankings still show you at the top. After this mission, you have received 67,488 points. For setting a new record, you have received an additional 50,000 points, and Yuan's inventory at this time seemed to be very full. Something was vibrating. The system announced that he had received the egg of an unnamed creature. A notification appeared. "Welcome to the first floor." As soon as he arrived, he thought, "I received my rewards during the transfer. Besides points, was there anything else?" He saw the egg in his inventory and got annoyed. It doesn't even have a name. What the hell is this thing? At the same time, Hagen also landed quickly, just a moment after him in the outer area of the first floor, the starting area. Two men in the distance spoke to each other. "What's this? Newbies? I thought there was still quite a bit of time left in the tutorial. How are they here already?" Yuan observed his surroundings. The participants? No. Now they're players. There are probably quite a few people from various guilds here to recruit new players. Hagen looked around, extremely curious about what the people here were wearing. With just a glance, he knew. "Olympus is here too? I recognize a few familiar faces." Then he asked him, "What about guilds? Do you plan on joining one?" Yuan coldly replied, "Not sure." Hagen spoke up, "Knew it. If you won't even bother to form a team, of course you wouldn't join a guild." "Oh well, since I lost the bet, I'll keep my promise." Recalling the Administrator's attitude towards him earlier, he asked curiously, "Oh, by the way, about that discussion earlier between the Administrator and Olympus. Did something happen?" Hearing this, Yuan fell silent for a moment. He asked in return, "The Olympus you speak of. It's always been a place that works for justice and maintains order within the tower, right?" Hagen, still not understanding, asked again, "What do you mean?" But Yuan still chose not to say. "If you want to know people's true nature, it's better for you to find out for yourself, slowly." "You probably wouldn't believe me even if I told you." Hagen shouted at his back, "Hey, are you just going to leave like that again? When you get to town, register as a player. That way we can at least stay in touch." It seemed he was also very worried about him, not forgetting to add one last piece of advice. "And one more thing. Watch out for the jackals." Without looking back, Eugene just waved to show he understood and said goodbye. The man just stood there watching him walk away, not noticing a figure behind him. Suddenly, a voice rang out. "I am Agamemnon. I wish to have an audience with the one from the legendary bloodline." Hagen turned around. "So you've come," he continued. "I believe we've met before, haven't we?" Agamemnon bowed respectfully. "Thank you for remembering me, my lord." Hagen went on, "You're an apostle of Ares, aren't you? I heard he just became a high-ranking officer. Pass on my congratulations to him for me." He spoke up. "Thank you, my lord." Agamemnon continued, "However, Lord Ares considers a bloodline the most important thing of all. He himself ordered me not to deliver any of your messages until you find your birth mother." Hagen was surprised. "What?" His words began to carry a mocking tone. "You know very well that the god who rules the sky has little interest in children. And since you still don't know who your mother is..." Hagen became furious. "You insolent bastard!" In response to his fury, he simply bowed his head slightly. "Please, my lord, do not act this way. I'm sure you are well aware of Lord Ares' disposition. Bloodline is something he created himself. He hopes that one day you will start a family of your own." Hagen gritted his teeth in anger. This bastard. He gives with one hand and takes with the other. But he had a point. The one looking down on me isn't him, but that eccentric Ares. If I start something with this guy, my relationship with Olympus is as good as gone. He quickly regained his composure. "All right, I forgive you." Agamemnon bowed respectfully. "Yes, my lord." He asked curiously, Oh, right. Who was that person with you just now? Seeing him leave alone, it seems he's not a member of your team, is he? As soon as he was mentioned, he stammered, "That guy? He's a friend. Yeah, sort of a friend of mine." Agamemnon wondered, "Sort of a friend?" Now about the jackals. This is the nickname for those who have given up on reaching the next floor. They focus only on robbing and killing new players. In the starting area, their favorite prey are players who haven't joined a guild yet. They call the period after the tutorial ends harvest time, Eugene calculated. They've already started tailing me. Thanks to my high perception stat, I don't need eagle eyes to see there are about 20 of them. He read the description of the dark holy crystal. It is a shattered image containing the darkness of the origin. It contains magic with the property of infinite darkness. The fragment is still unrefined. Only a master artisan can unleash its true power. Eugene was amused. Jackals, huh? They're the perfect targets to test out my invisibility skill. Just as he predicted, there were sharp eyes behind him, constantly watching his every move. The pack of dogs muttered, "The tutorial's already over?" It was faster than we predicted. That's a new record. That means there'll be a lot of newbies with good stuff. Their pack leader was named Fatio. They calculated amongst themselves, he doesn't have a guild following him, right? No companions either. Something's strange. Maybe we should just let him go. Why should we let him go? Don't you see? That's an astrology orb. What? Then we've hit the jackpot. Let's get him, Chief. But there was one problem. He suddenly vanished without a trace. Fatio was bewildered. That guy, he disappeared. What? He was right here just a second ago. Without letting them wait any longer, he quickly attacked from behind, causing the entire group to panic. The terrified leader screamed, "Enemy in the area!" The grating howls of the pack continued. They quickly fell into chaos. The frustrated leader yelled, "Who are you? Show yourself! I said show your damn face!" His underlings scattered. "Over here! And over here!" "Chief, I think he's just bait." No wonder, how could a newbie just happen to have an astrology orb? That jackal used the Hawkeye skill to observe the situation. It's not an illusion skill? They panicked. "Chief, we have to retreat." Fatio wondered in a daze. How can a rookie who just entered the tower use an invisibility skill? Impossible! He acted decisively. With one strike, he successfully lopped off one of their heads. But there was no way he was going to let them get away. Eugene decided to hunt this pack of hounds to the last man. After being caught by him, a trembling Fatio thought, "This guy isn't some weak prey. He's the sword that can kill us. This is a player from an upper floor," Eugene said aggressively. "Don't even bother running, it's pointless. I'll just catch you all anyway." And Fatio couldn't stop thinking, he'll be penalized for interfering on the first floor. So why is he fighting us? Eugene's face turned serious. "I have a few questions for you guys. Answer honestly and I'll let you go." One of Fatio's men shouted defiantly, "I'd rather die than—" He hadn't even finished his sentence when Eugene aggressively slashed near his leg, sending blood splattering everywhere. Eugene threatened, "Keep being stubborn and I'll make it so you can't live. And you can't die, got it?" At this point he was truly terrified and lowered his voice. "I'll answer. I'll tell you everything." Eugene didn't beat around the bush and got straight to the point. "Do you know where the person named Mu Unchon is?" Hearing this, Fatio had a strong reaction. "How do you know his name?" Eugene let out a sly, self-satisfied smile. Bullseye on the first try. The scene changes to evening in a certain town. The surroundings were incredibly quiet inside a particular house. Warm food and tea were already lavishly arranged on the table. This was the first floor of the EU Central Zone. One was sitting alone, observing. He thought, this is also one of the good things. Fortunately, by going back to the past, I was able to get the necessary information quickly, so I have some free time. The exhaustion from fighting with all my might is also finally starting to fade. He looked at this place. People were gathering and trading, and a sense of peace filled his heart. He wondered what kind of worlds the people here were living in as an image of two clinking wine glasses appeared in his mind. At that moment, he remembered the old days when he and his two friends also had such happy moments. The smile on his face back then was so bright. Those were the carefree days. Right after he pulled himself together. That's enough sentimentality. Now then, this thing works on quitters like those jackals. But it's still not the perfect invisibility of the helm of invisibility. It could be because my own abilities are still weak, but it's also partly because it hasn't been refined yet. This is an item that was once jokingly called the Infinity Stone. That's just how much mana it possesses. If the power of this fragment is amplified, invisibility will be nothing. I don't know what the limits of its power are, but first, I have to refine it. The reason the ruler of the sky and the king of Olympus was likely able to seize his throne is because he possessed a fragment of the lightning bolt. As for Hades, he never went into battle without his helm of invisibility. They are treasures that can guarantee Olympus will stand firm, both now and in the distant future. And the only person who can refine an item like this is... Thinking of this, he felt a little happier. It's been a long time since I've had the chance to see him again. The person he was talking about seemed to be a blacksmith, who at this moment was still engrossed in his work. Eugene called this person Mr. The player kit is used by channeling the owner's mana after registering their unique mana signature. At the rank registration office, the player's information and number will appear. Equipment classification, basic items, internet browsing, and the ability to communicate with other players are all included. It's a very important item inside the tower. Eugene held the item in his hand, thinking, I've already registered as a player. Now, if I remember correctly, it should be somewhere around here. Is it that way? I don't remember the exact location, so it's hard to find. Suddenly, a weak voice called out, Excuse me, sir, please spare me some points. The person trembled as he came closer. Please, my child is starving. Seeing that Eugene didn't react, the man finally lost his patience and showed his true colors. Hey, fork over everything you've got. Before the words were even finished, Eugene spun around aggressively and attacked. It turns out they were a gang of robbers. The others, seeing their comrade get knocked down, screamed in alarm and then charged forward. Michael, you bastard! How dare you mess with our organization! Eugene's face darkened as he slashed at the shouting fat man, saying disdainfully, If your life is shit, you should try to crawl your way up. Don't take it out on others. As he spoke, he single-handedly took care of all of them. After dealing with the robbers, he continued on his way, searching for something. After arriving at a large alley, he saw a sign and thought to himself, Found it. Eugene stepped inside and called out loudly, Is anyone here? A wave of heat hit him. He thought this place felt like a sauna. From inside a room, a voice called out, Didn't you say you were busy this morning? A man quickly walked out from the room. Seeing Eugene, the man couldn't hide his bewildered expression. Huh? What the? He wondered out loud. Is that an astrological pyrosphere? You don't look like you're from around here. Are you lost? Eugene looked at the weapons around him and replied, No, I'm in the right place. Or is this not a blacksmith's forge? The man was surprised. What? You want to buy some equipment? If you think that pile of junk is any good, go ahead. But I'm not sure they're any better than what you've got. Eugene picked up a sword. It was the dull blade, a crudely made sword with no sharp edge, looking more like a club than a sword. He assessed, These are all failures. Looks like you're not very good at messing things up, are you? Your name is Vulcan, isn't it, mister? The man's eyes quickly filled with anger. A murderous aura emanated from his whole body. Who sent you here? But Eugene remained calm. You don't have to be so guarded, he introduced himself. I'm just a player who's barely set foot on the first floor. Vulcan thought to himself, the number showing the highest floor he's conquered is 1, so he's not lying. Eugene sighed in relief, thinking, if he had swung that hammer, it would have been a disaster. And if I had dared to call him by his real name, that hammer would have flown straight at me. I'd better be careful. The man spoke up, asking, So what do you want? Eugene quickly stated his purpose for being there. It's nothing much. I want to commission an item from you. As soon as Vulcan saw it, he got excited. Is that... Can I get a closer look? His jaw dropped in awe. This is an unrefined crystal. Eugene asked his opinion. Do you think you can refine it? Vulcan observed it meticulously. Of course I can do it. But where did you get this? He didn't hide it. It was the reward for completing my tutorial. The man shouted in amazement. What? You got this from the tutorial? But thinking about it, the tutorial should still be ongoing right now, shouldn't it? How many days did it take you to finish? Eugene said, About 5 days and 2 hours. I got the highest rank. As soon as Vulcan heard that, he knew it was a new record. He thought to himself, no wonder he has such gear even though he's only on the first floor, to be this expensive. This is definitely not an ordinary person. Then he continued, the best I can do is just refine it. Using cheap materials will just damage this thing. You need a material that can handle the power of this crystal. But you've seen the state of the equipment here, haven't you? And you can still entrust this thing to me? Eugene answered calmly, Yes. The man clenched his fist and couldn't help but curse, You damn lunatic! Aren't you afraid I'll run off with this thing? Eugene said, half joking, half serious. I'm a pretty good judge of character. If you wanted the crystal, I would have seen the greed in your eyes by now. Right now, all I see is excitement. Besides, I don't think you're the type to mess this up. I might not look at it, but I'm very picky. While the old man was fumbling around, he took the dull sword in his hand and swung it up and down to test it, perfectly balanced. This isn't something that can be achieved with just time and good materials. This could only be made through the experience and skill of a veteran blacksmith. For such a talented blacksmith to be left neglected in a remote place like this? As Eugene thought this, he spoke up. You can dull the blade and make a shoddy handle, but old habits die hard. You forgot to ruin the sword's balance. Hearing this, the man was momentarily stunned, then Vunkaro burst out laughing. You really are an interesting one. Are you a pureblood? What guild are you a member of? Eugene said, I don't have a guild, and I suppose I talk a bit like a pureblood. The man said cheerfully, What do you mean you talk a bit like one? Ah, whatever. Fine. I'll accept your request. Since you've put your trust in me, we will refine it with everything we've got. However, I have one condition. As he said this, his expression became extremely serious. You must keep it a secret that this was refined, and where it was refined. You can do that, right? He cracked a slight smile. Of course.